How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching and/or listening to ABL Live. We got a special edition tonight. We're watching the address that is basically the State of the Union address, although for some odd reason they don't want to call it that. I don't understand what's the science behind that. Can anybody explain that to me? So when you search for this particular address, we're going to watch at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in about 28 minutes. Once we watch it, they're not going to call the State of the Union address, although that's what it is. Okay, you have the president speaking about the current state of the union before a joint session of Congress, all over television. Some kind of technicality behind why it's not technically a State of the Union address, although it is. So we're going to get to that in a little while, but we are here early, ready and waiting to go ahead and get rocking and rolling. Shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all for joining me on the Tuesday. And we'll also be back on Wednesday as normal, as usual. And Saturday as usual as well for the live shows. But tonight we have a special edition because we have the State of the Union address that is not necessarily the State of the Union address. All right. Now, I cannot pronounce your name and I'm sorry. Let's go with KE. Says in his first year in office, you mean in the first year of his term, in the first year of his second term. So I guess in each president's first year, it's not a State of the Union address. Okie dokie. Maybe that makes sense. Shout out to you. Thank you for the explanation. I'm doing very well, Joseph. Thank you for asking. Everything's good. I'm ready for the not State of the Union. Okay, so JLP said the same thing. First year is not called a State of the Union for some reason. Okay, so weird. I mean, let's have some continuity. Let's just call it what it is. But regardless of what we want to call it, we will be watching that today. The address before Congress. I feel like I've never not heard them call the State of the Union address, even during the president's first year. What's he going to talk about? Of course, the economy. That's going to be a big one. It's going to be quite a bit. It's going to be quite a bit. The economy, the border being closed, Ukraine, some of the executive orders, men and women's sports. Elon is going to be brought up. But I don't think he wants the conversation to center around Elon because, you know, the press try to make Elon be the equivalent of the president, which he doesn't like. And I know I'm not a fan of that either. UPS says, yo, ABL, how many bombshells do you think Trump is going to throw down today? That's a good question. I'm not sure. We'll see. I don't expect a whole bunch of bombshells to be dropped, but we'll see it. Shout out to USO. What's that? You so slow? Or yeah, you so slow, 757. Hello, ABL, coming from 757. Norfolk. Shout out to you, boss. Shout out to Norfolk, Sharp City. B. Gatlin says, ABL, so glad to have found your channel several months ago. Always enjoyable, even when the subject stinks. Thank you. I appreciate you. I'm glad you enjoyed the channel. I think he probably will mention crypto, Ricky G, because that's a big thing. AI, got to mention AI. That's got to be the topic of conversation because AI is going so quickly. You got to really bring it up. And of course, we're talking about a lot of investment from these big tech companies all over the country, all over the world. The tariffs, where can we getting jobs back into the country? You know what's going to happen is that the economy, you're no longer going to be able to just get free money. You're going to have to go out there and work. So, and I hope that we can get the drug problem under control. I watched a video today, and some of y'all might have seen it. Matter of fact, I saw it yesterday. It wasn't today. I saw a video yesterday of a police officer overdosing on fentanyl in the actual police station. Okay, he goes into the bathroom of the police station and smokes what he thinks it's meth, but there's actually fat in the pipe. I'm gonna tell you what the cop did as we wait. So the video I saw, and you probably are going to see it here pretty soon. I might do a video on it. The cop, Asian guy, I believe out there in California somewhere. If I'm wrong, y'all please correct me. But what he was doing was arresting, or I don't want to say harassing, but that's kind of what it was, homeless people, and shaking them down for drugs. Like, hey man, you have any drugs on you? What's that in your pocket? He was seizing the drugs from homeless people and then using the drugs that he would seize. And in this instance, he took a meth pipe from a homeless dude and he would smoke out of the homeless dude's pipe. Yes, he did. Now, some are going to ask, hey, ABL, why can't he just go to the store and get him a $5 pipe? You saw that video, Ben? Hey, ABL, why can't he just go to the store and get a $5 pipe for his? Because he wants what's inside the pipe. He doesn't want to go out in the street and cop the drugs himself as a police officer. He didn't want to do that. What he wants to do is take the drugs from the homeless people and then just smoke what they got. Now, he was asking the dude questions like, hey, what's in this? You got meth, crystal, fent, what you got? Oh, a little bit of meth. He believed the homeless dude. He goes in the bathroom of the police station and hits the pipe. He thinks it's meth, but it's really fentanyl. And then the officer had to find him in there bent over. I'm talking about this dude. It's like, you ever seen a boxing match, somebody get knocked out and they just fall back and their legs are pinned under him? It was like that. Both of his legs were pinned under his body. It looked like he had broken knees. His legs were going every which way, but loose. You understand what I'm saying? In the bathroom, bent over because he OD'd on fent. They narked him about 4 or 5 times before he started to really wake up. It was crazy. A police officer in the police station doing that. Now, the whole point behind me saying that story is the whole point behind me telling that story is to highlight just how bad the drug problem is. The drug problem is very bad in this country, and we got to be able to get a hold on that if we want to really press forward and get back to work. Because a lot of what is stopping the work from happening is people too high on drugs to actually show up and be productive. Okay, that's the whole issue there, right? That is the whole issue that we got going on. All right. My man was bent over. Hold on. Let me see if I can find you that actual. I'm gonna show you guys the officer bent over in the stall if I can find it. And if you guys like what you're hearing so far, if you enjoy the content in general, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Okay, yeah, I got it right here. Matter of fact, hold on. Look, when I say he was bent over, watch. Okay. I'm talking about bent over in the stall. That right there is what fentanyl will do to you. In his uniform, gun, badge, all of that. In the police station, bathroom, he was smoking what he thought was meth out of the pipe. You see the pipe? I don't know if the pipe might be like right there, might be in his hand. He thought it was meth, wound up being fent, and he had to get Narcan like 4 or 5 times right there in the police station. That right there is going to be a problem if you want to have a productive society. And I've been telling y'all about drugs for years. I've been shouting it and look right here on the baby changing table. Look, what's that right there? What's that right there on the baby table? Now, luckily, he's in the police station and not in the Applebee's or. Can you imagine how dangerous that is? What if you are at Outback Steakhouse like that? Your tallywhackers out, your guns on the baby changing table, and here you are bent over from fed. I mean, listen, moral of the story is, kids, please don't do drugs. You don't want to find yourself bent over with your twig berries out, and now you got to get Narcaned by your buddies on the force. Definitely going to get fired for sure. And the crazy part is that he was taking drugs from homeless people and smoking it. A dirty pipe, smoking that like it was nothing. It was crazy. Crazy. Totally crazy. So this is October 24th, 2023. This is Sacramento. His name is Marvin Morales. Suffered the overdose after smoking fentanyl-laced meth in the police station where he worked. One of his colleagues would stumble upon him in the floor in the bathroom. Okay. Now, they thought that first what happened was he exposed himself to the fat because of a bust. You know how they say if you touch the fentanyl, you could die or whatever. Nah, he smoked it. And I'm willing to bet that sometimes when you hear about things like this, oh, somebody saw some fat and they touched it and they fell out. Nah, what they did was smoked it and they overdosed. That's probably what happened. Now, he's not dead. He just overdosed. But they Narcaned him like 4 or 5 times. Yeah, he almost died. When they found him, he had like, his lips were so blue, it looked like lipstick. I'm talking about ice blue. So if the colleague didn't find him, he would have died for sure. He would have been dead right there in the bathroom all day long. The pipe was in the hand. Yeah, right here. The meth pipe in the hand. Yeah. So it's crazy. Hey, it's the streets are crazy. Crazy. Nah, he was in the bathroom. He probably was, urinating or whatever. And then it's like, okay, let me just smoke my meth pipe right here in the police station while I'm at it. Okay, cool. 2 birds with 1 stone. I'm taking the leak and I'm taking the hit. Okay, I'm double dipping. And before I know it, I'm bent over backwards in the stall of the bathroom, and I can't breathe because I didn't hit this pipe that got fentanyl in it. It's crazy. Hey man, that fentanyl is a monster. I told you about my story about the dude on Frontier Airlines. Just he wasn't slumped over like that, but he was all that jazz. I'm like, man, nah, get him out of here. Get him out of here. Hey, double dipping. Okay, double dipping. Taking the leak and taking the hit all at once. All right, and then before you know it, you getting Narcaned and you having all this jazz. It's crazy. I mean, hey. Don't do drugs, kids. Please, I beg. I beg. Please do not do the drugs. All right. Okie dokie. So what we're going to do, we're going to show. Let me see if I can show. Let's see if I can show C-SPAN. I got AP. I got C-SPAN. I got all that good stuff. All righty. Let's see what we can do here. An ad? Come on, C-SPAN. Let's not do that. Okie dokie. Let's go ahead and show this. Do we have sound? We're still pretty early. The address starts at 9 p.m. Eastern.
Since, as both Republicans, they will, we always see those kinds of things happen in unison, pretty much for these big addresses.
Stay with us. Jasmine Wright of Notice, Jason Dick of Roll Call will be here along with Greta Brawner, of course.
So we got J.D. Vance talking to Mike Johnson. Shout out to Mike Johnson. All right, we got Elon in the crowd. Of course, Elon going to be there. Oh, man, they're going to be all on Elon all night. All on him all night. That's going to be very, very interesting how they go about doing that. No Marmy says the other cop was yelling to keep the door open. It smelled. Well, because he's in there smoking. So what you don't want is for the fumes to be inhaled by anybody in there. So you want to keep the door open for ventilation. It's going to stink, of course, but you want that door open to keep proper ventilation so nobody else gets sick, because you don't know what's in that pipe. The cop thought it was meth. Obviously, it was not just meth. It was fentanyl. But it could have been some more stuff in there. And meth, fentanyl, crack, whatever, you don't want to have that. What you don't want to do is get secondhand crack smoke in your face. Okay? You don't want that to happen to you. All right? Not at all. Not at all. All right, so we got Ted Cruz in the building. That looks like who's a young lady in Congress? There go Ben Shapiro. Matt Walsh. That's interesting. Why are they there? So Shapiro, okay, now I get it. Okay, I get it. Okay. Now, what happened was, the reason why I say I get it is because earlier today, Shapiro put out this short video talking about Derek Chauvin should get pardoned, and he was calling on Trump to do it. I'm like, this is kind of odd. Why would you do this right now? Now I understand. Because you're going to State of the Union address, and you want to do that right now while you have visibility and while you're going to be in the building. And maybe you hope that Trump would say something to you as far as the whole Derek Chauvin thing. Then you're able to cash in on it. That could be what's going on here. But now I kind of understand a little bit more why he would do that. I got a little bit distracted by Nancy Pelosi. How old is she now? Nancy Pelosi got to be 1,000 years old. I mean, good night. There go my man, Tim Scott. Shout out Tim Scott. Okay, Nancy Mace. That's who I'm thinking it is. Nancy Mace. Hey, can I say something right quick about Nancy Mace? Hot. Super hot. Her and Kristi Noem. Both of them they do something to me. I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm just getting older. I don't know what's going on, but they do something to me. They go Hakeem Jeffries, the fake Barack Obama. They love him a light-skinned, kind of biracial, ambiguous, passing black man. They loved him that. Like, that's going to make a difference. We don't care about that anymore. I don't care what color you are. Look at Jasmine Crockett. A mess. Pure ghetto. She could be black, white, Puerto Rican, and Candy Stripe. It'd be the same kind of ghetto going on. This is going to be very interesting. I want to see J.D. Vance's faces when he's behind the president as he's speaking. And Mike Johnson. I want to see their faces as the president speaking. That's going to be fantastic. I can't wait. I cannot wait. All righty. Jasmine Crockett, what's up with all these adornments and stuff? You see what I'm saying? It's like, you looking like a pimp named Slitback. Boondocks at best. This is just too much. Okay, the lady, I don't know who that is, but I couldn't read a little sticker she had on. They go Elon, the triple OG Elon Musk. Okay, Elon, don't get nobody in this room pregnant tonight. Please, I'm begging you. You got enough kids as it is. Don't get nobody in this room prego, sir.
Become a reality. And so I think that is what Donald Trump is using. But we know tomorrow the House.
All right, I'll just have to test my sound. They go Lindsey Graham, Al Green. Lindsey Graham looking a little bit up there. They go Adam Schiff. They're getting older. I guess we all are, but these people are definitely getting up there in age. How old is Lindsey Graham by this time? Hold on. Lindsey Graham is 69 years old. He'll be 70 in July. Lindsey Graham is relatively young compared to people like Maxine Waters, Chuck Schumer, Mitch McConnell, etc. He's a young man compared to them. Okay. Like when Lindsey Graham was born, Chuck Schumer, not Chuck Schumer, pardon me. When Lindsey Graham was born and Mitch McConnell was like a freshman in high school. So that tells you just how much of an age difference there is. Lindsey's old, but Mitch McConnell's much older. There go Cash, Big Cash. Shout out to Cash Patel. All righty. And this is members and guests for President Trump. I don't know. Oh, there go Usha. I didn't know who that was at first. Usha Vance. Shout out to Usha Vance. That is, of course, J.D. Vance's wife. Now, Elon and Jasmine Crockett having the baby would be totally crazy. That'd be a one-sided deal right there. What are you gonna get? What will you get from Jasmine Crockett? You can't even get no good head of hair. From Elon, at least you're gonna get some good IQ, but Jasmine Crockett, what you gonna get? I don't really know. All right, there go Trump family. That Trump family right there. We got Tiffany, Jared, Ivanka, the whole squad. Don Jr. Nomi Train. So the chat informed me that the reason why it's not technically a State of the Union address is because it's the first year of his term. So they say in the first year of your term, it's not technically a State of the Union address. But in the second year of your term, It will be. Although it's second term, third term, really. Although it's his second term officially, it's the first year of his second term. So the second year, it would be the State of the Union address officially. But in essence, it's the same speech because you're speaking in front of a joint session of Congress. It's the same thing, but technically it's not called that. But to put it in the thumbnail, Trump's speech before a joint session of Congress, I'm like, it doesn't really make a whole lot of State of the Union address. Everybody understands it. That's why I put it in quotations, because I know some are going to say, ABL, that's wrong. But I also want to make it easy for people to understand exactly what they're going to be watching, if that makes any sense. All right. So, again, the speech starts at 9 p.m. We have about 8 minutes officially. Okay, we got Cory Booker, the shaking lady. Who's the shaking lady? I forget her name. Y'all know what I'm talking about. The lady that shake a lot. Muhammad Ali, Michael J. Fox, shaking the bacon, moving and grooving. What's her name? Y'all know what I'm talking about. The white lady who was shaking a lot and ran for president with Kamala and them. I forget her name. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But that was just her right there on the screen. It's crazy how Kamala was getting stomped out by people like that. It's like you go to the podium, you got a clear medical issue, yet you're polling higher, much higher than someone who was totally able-bodied with a career. You were the attorney general, you were a senator, and now you're trying to become the president, and you getting beat out by a lady that got some kind of issue. Not Susan Collins.
Barrasso.
Not Susan Collins. That's not her name. Amy Klobuchar. Thank you. Amy Klobuchar. Yes. Does Susan Collins also shake? Good grief. Pocahontas. All of them shake, huh?
The senator from New York, Mr. Schumer. The senator from Illinois, Mr. Durbin. Members of the committee on the part of the Senate to escort the President of the United States into the House chamber. The senator from South Dakota, Mr. Thune. The senator from Wyoming, Mr. Barrasso. The senator from Arkansas, Mr. Cotton. The senator from Oklahoma, Mr. Lankford. The senator from West Virginia, Mrs. Capito. The senator from South Carolina, Mr. Scott. The senator from New York, Mr. Schumer. The senator from Illinois, Mr. Durbin. The senator from Minnesota, Ms. Klobuchar.
All right, we're just doing roll call. I mean, we could just wait. But, of course, we got your man, J.D. Vance, handling that right next to Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. All right, shout out to him. And, of course, the speech will begin at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You know what? It'd be great to have a guy in there who can actually speak and string two words together. That's a beautiful thing. I love it. I love it. All right. No Big Mike. Well, I don't think Barry or Big Mike are going to be in the building for this one. I don't think so. Not for this. If Obama was there with no Big Mike, it's like, all right, man, come on. Now we're just playing.
Speaker, the Dean of the Diplomatic Corps.
What's going on, Eric Brown from Portsmouth, Peace City, Virginia? Shout out to you, boss. Oh, yeah, and so also, the female House Democrats will be wearing pink tonight. That's part of their protest, wearing pink. So if you see a crowd full of Pepto-Bismol bottles, that's what's happening. It's a coordinated thing from female House Democrats, however you want to say it, to all wear pink. That's part of their whole thing. Alrighty. That's why you're going to see a lot of Peptols all around the place. All right. Shout out to Pete Bob. Shout out James used to live in Virginia Beach. Shout out to all the Virginia peoples. Alrighty.
Way that former.
All right, don't need to hear from her. We're just waiting for the event to start in about 4 to 5 minutes. All right. Yeah, what a protest, right, Vince? It's crazy. And I don't think the breast cancer awareness people are going to appreciate the appropriation too much. It's like, hey, you took our whole thing. What are we doing? What is a woman exactly?
Associate Justices of the United States Supreme Court.
That's great.
Nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea. Shout out to Peptol. All right. Will Trump discuss the gold at Fort Knox? I doubt it. I doubt it. It's kind of in my opinion, a small issue. But he could. He could. I don't want to just dismiss it, but I don't really anticipate that. We'll see. We shall see. What do y'all think? Do y'all think he's going to mention the Fort Knox gold? We got Supreme Court justices. Shout out to Brett Kavanaugh. Brett Kavanaugh went through the fire to be able to get to where he's at. Christine Blasey Ford. They put that lady on the cover of Time magazine talking about he assaulted me when he was 18 years old 1,000 years ago. A complete liar. A liar. It was so crazy. He had to get his entire childhood. All the women from his childhood came forward to defend him. I've never in my life seen anything like that. And I've not seen anything like that since. Brett Kavanaugh is legitimately a Boy Scout. Like, for real, for real. If not for that, he might have been in trouble. He had 100 women publicly support him. I've never seen such a thing. Shout out to Brett Kavanaugh.
Retired Justice Anthony.
No Clarence Thomas. I didn't see all of the people coming out. Will I get more pad thai? I'm good now. Like the last time we did a stream like this, I had my pad thai afterward. I had not eaten a thing of food all day. I literally got up, did some things, made some things happen, and I started streaming. So we went for like 8+ hours. I did not have enough time to get anything to eat. So I was up here starving to death. So as soon as the stream was over with, I got in my vehicle and went straight to the spot. Instantly, right away. Zooming down the little suburban roads, the little country roads. Yeah, but now I'm good. I done had my fish and my brown rice and my avocado and my tomatoes and my trail mix. And I got my coconut waters, my regular water and all that. I'm good money. I'm good to go. And the pad thai was amazing. Yes, it was. The pad thai hit all the spots. I was so hungry. Listen, I was so hungry. I had a decent size portion. It wasn't a humongous portion, but it was a decent, like, to-go styrofoam. I was so hungry, I could have eaten every bit of the food in 2 bites. I'm talking about with my hands, like, But I was like, okay, just relax yourself. Don't use your hands. Use a fork and just take little baby bites. Oh, man, like, I had to pace myself. That whole thing would have been, I'm talking about just dump it in my face like a dump truck. That's how hungry I was.
Well, that didn't.
It was crazy, but we're waiting on the Triple OG, the orange man, to come on out here. Is it my favorite dish? No, it's up there though. It's definitely up there. My favorite food, for real, give me some Filipino food from an actual Filipino woman, an auntie. She got to be at least 45 years old. A 45-year-old plus Filipino auntie who has been in America for about 5 years. Give me one of them. You know, and if they cook my food, the lumpia, the pancit, the chicken adobo, oh my Lord. Boy, you talking about, hey man, I will pay top dollar. What I want to do is recruit some Filipino women to come on out here to the Atlanta area and start a restaurant. And I know it'll hit. I know it'll hit. Because I know how good it is and how good we like it in Virginia. It'll take off like, it'll be like a nuke dropped right there in Atlanta. Filipino food, it'd be crazy.
Issue for him.
So to answer the question, my favorite, that right there. Everything else, it's all right.
And you know,
hey, you hungry now, huh? Dubs 08. I know it. Shout out to the good food, man.
You know, pull back the tariffs or bring it down to a lower percent.
I need to try some Penang beef with drunken noodles. That sounds amazing. That sounds amazing. Oh, I know Seattle Thai food. Like, I know West Coast, y'all got some good Asian food because y'all right there. You could just go straight over. So I know y'all got some good Asian food. I was in Arizona. I was in Phoenix years ago, and I found a Filipino food spot when I was out there. But they were like Hawaiians, so it was a little bit different, but it was still good. Shout out to the Hawaiian Filipinos.
President Trump may announce.
I need a Filipino lady straight from Quezon City, Manila. I need one of them. And look, we have a Ukrainian flag. We got some Ukrainian flag bearers in here.
And then
there we go, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Shout out Marjorie Taylor Greene from my neck of the woods. All right, out here in North Georgia, not far from me. Yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene, her district is like right there. Like I could throw a stone and hit it. It's right there.
Kind of freaking out negatively about these.
All right, I'm waiting on them. It's 9:01. Hey, we on Orange Man time right now. Shout out to the Orange Man. Phenomenal Asian food in Vancouver. Or I can imagine. Bo versus Windshield said my stepmom's Filipino. Food is so good. Yes, yes indeed. The pho. Shout out to the pho, Roger Wood. At the Bumbo Hugh. Mama Chan's in Portsmouth. Hey Eric, y'all, you like that? You get that yak. Y'all still eat yak out Portsmouth? Hey, that yak. They don't know about that yak, do they, Eric? That yak is something different. That right there, that's a dish that's like, you can't really get that anywhere else other than right there. A lot of y'all like, yak, what's that?
Not quite sure who that one was. I think we've had pretty good batting record.
Yes,
80%.
We got Melania coming out. All right. Shout out to the OG Melania. Who is this police officer right here? Like, what is going on? Am I seeing like a diminutive? I don't quite. Is that a dwarf cop? What is going on? Do y'all see this? The person right here, right behind Melania, to her right, but to my left. Like, come on, man, we got to do better with the recruiting here. Maybe I'm tripping. It might be just be like a perspective. I don't know, but I thought the cop might have been all of 4'5". Like, what are you gonna actually protect in here?
Public remarks since Donald Trump.
Jason says, "Why don't I get myself a Filipino woman? They don't. Ain't none of them out here. They're not out here. I got to go back to Virginia, and I ain't doing that no time soon. Yeah, I gotta bring them out this way.
Much differently this time around."
Mr. Speaker, the President's Cabinet.
Okay, we got the cabinet coming out. Marco, shout out Marco. All right. I thought that was Jeb. I'm like, oh, hope we ain't bringing out Jeb Bush, but that's not Jeb at all. Shout out to Jeb. I wonder where Jeb is. I often think about Jeb. I often think of Jeb. Like, I wonder what Jeb would do in this situation. Okay, please clap. I think about Jeb often. Shout out to Jeb. Yeah, shout out to Jeb. Gary Coleman's brother. Hey, man, I'm not quite sure what the gender was. They go RFK. They go my man, Controller HUD. We got Kristi Noem. Kristi Noem looking good, of course, as always. All right, we got a pretty good cabinet here. I like the cabinet. What do you got? How's the cabinet for you guys? What do you guys think? If you have a good cabinet, bad cabinet, are they competent, incompetent? Y'all let me know. And Rock says, my Indonesian wife has friends. Hey, if they speak the English, tell them come on down to this particular neck of the woods. Tell them come on down south and holla at ABL. If they speak the English, I don't speak no Indonesian at all. Okay, I don't know no words of Indonesian. All right, there go my man Pete Hegseth. Shout out to Pete. All right. We got Kristi Noem. Who is that behind Kristi Noem? I forget her name. That's not Nancy Mace. I forget her name. All right. We got quite a few people coming out. But who we need the orange man to come on out and get this party started and get it started quickly. Right? Barry Soetoro. Yeah, I know Barry Soetoro, Bathhouse Barry. I know he knows Indonesian real well. He knows that part of the world very well.
How much we're paying attention to the fashion because of like some of the protests and so forth, having just done the Oscars 2 nights ago.
All right. I've been divorced for years now, but I don't talk about it though because she cool. Shout out to them. Shout out to the family. But it's been over with. I'm in the streets again. I look, Chris, I think of Jeb very often. Jeb was something else, man. You know, Jeb, they wanted Jeb to be the president. They wanted it to be the dynasty, right? You have W. Well, what was that? Well, HW came first. HW, and then Jeb. But W wasn't that good, and Jeb was awful. Jeb was kind of goofy. He just didn't have what it took to really ascend to that next level. And W barely had it, to be totally honest with you. HW didn't have it. HW became the president for one term, and then that was it because he was terrible.
I don't know if
he likes to chat.
I don't know if President.
He could never. Reagan was something else.
I mean, in that.
There we go. We got Usha. That's JD Vance's wife, of course. Shout out to Usha. No, don't be sorry. Do not be sorry about nothing. I am having a time of my life. Don't even worry about it. Don't be sorry about nothing. ABL belongs to the streets. That's funny. All right. Shout out to Dwayne from the Bahamas. Shout out to you. All right. Shout out to you from the Bahamas. Hopefully you enjoying the sun down there. Yes, Elon is there, Mr. Rich. He is there. Yes, he is. Shout out to Elon. All right. Thank you to Great Go 615 who says, ABL, thank you. You were one of the ones who woke me up when I stumbled across your channel. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. That's what I'm here for, man. I'm just here to teach, here to just try and get everybody on the same page and open your mind up. That's all I'm here for. All right. Yeah, I ain't worried about nothing, though. I'm not worried about none of that other stuff. I'm worried about what's going to happen right now during this address. We're a little bit late. It says starting. That's funny. The little starting shortly, a little passive aggressive. We'll get ready in a minute. That means he late. Orange man time. That's funny. Thank you, Jason. Watching for years. I appreciate you. Thank you. Kevin Wright says, shout out to ABL from El Paso, Texas. I love El Paso. Shout out to El Paso. Really, really good people. Down to earth, kind. I love El Paso a lot. Shout out to you. Hold on. Shout out to you, Jackie. Your ex got TDS? That's crazy. That's totally crazy. Imagine that. Imagine that. I mean, you never know what can happen to somebody. People just, catch this contagious virus from watching TV. It's a mess. Now, they've not shown the transformer. There is a transformer in the House on the Democrat side, but they have not shown that person, I don't think. So we'll see. Mike coming from Ohio. Shout out to Ohio. Y'all know I got family in Ohio. Shout out to Columbus and Southern Ohio in general. All right. Your aunt has TDS, Stella? That's wild. That's totally wild.
Whether or not he should.
All right. Let me see now. Vastafari says, when am I going to go to college campuses and get some? I probably will do some college campus speeches. That's a good idea. I think I will do that. I like to be able to do, thank you to Ron Henderson coming from Georgia. Shout out to you, man. I want to do something like not quite a Crowder or a Charlie Kirk, but I just want to go and talk to people on the college campus and see what we can discuss. Me as a black person, I want to see how they react to me differently than a white person. I try not to make everything about race, but race is really a big issue in our country. And it's not going nowhere no time soon. And I know if I go to these liberal college campuses, it's going to be a bunch of hate because me being black, since they can't pull the you're a white man card on me, they might try to get aggressive, which would be a bad idea on their part. But I would like to see what the reaction is to me on a liberal college campus. I would love to see that. That'd be really, really funny. So I think I will do that on some campuses. Yeah, but I ain't never scared though. Never scared at all. All right. Thank you to Tataka, says hello, ABL. Kathy here, longtime subscriber. Love your channel. It's the best. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Casey from McMinnville. Shout out to McMinnville, Tennessee. All right. Avoid Columbia. Hold on. Stevie says, ABL, my mom is Filipino in Harrison. I'll tell her and she'll have it ready for you. There we go. That's right there, right up the road. I'll be up that way because I got to go down that way anyway pretty soon and go to the mailbox. Because that's kind of like going toward my UPS box. So, yeah, that's all good. Shout out to Harrison, Tennessee. Yeah, I would love to do interviews, but I want to go down Atlanta on the Beltline and do some interviews. And I also want to do some like on college campuses. I'll probably start right there and then go Nashville so I could just go to it easily. And then I'll travel around. Yeah, Long Beach, California. Shout out to you, Gustavo, coming from Long Beach. Susan says, hi from Northeast Pennsylvania. Love your content. Shout out to you. I appreciate it. Headhunter 50, coming from Huntington. Shout out to Huntington. I go that way when I go back to West Virginia. I come up through Kentucky, and then I take 64 across. So I get close to Cincinnati, and then I hit through Huntington, and then I go straight along the river, along the Canal River, get to Rand that way. So yeah, shout out to Huntington, West Virginia. All right. Eastern New York, shout out to you, Teresa. Oklahoma, shout out to you, Martin. Knoxville, Chad. Okay. Everybody from all over the country. We got Charlotte, North Carolina, Fayetteville, Tennessee, Hollywood, Florida, Austin, Mass. Hold on.
Here we go.
Mr. Speaker, the President of the United States.
Now you see Steve Scalise right there, right behind Trump. So Scalise and Trump both got shot by deranged leftists. Love her hat. Shout out to Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's a great honor. Thank you very much. Speaker Johnson, Vice President Vance, the First Lady of the United States, members of the United States Congress, thank you very much. And to my fellow citizens, America is back. 6 weeks ago, I stood beneath the dome of this Capitol and proclaimed the dawn of the golden age of America. From that moment on, it has been nothing but swift and unrelenting action to usher in the greatest and most successful era in the history of our country. We have accomplished more in 43 days than most administrations accomplished in 4 years or 8 years, and we are just getting started. I return to this chamber tonight to report that America's momentum is back, our spirit is back, our pride is back, our confidence is back, and the American dream is surging bigger and better than ever before. The American dream is unstoppable, and our country is on the verge of a comeback, the likes of which the world has never witnessed and perhaps will never witness again. There's never been anything like it. The presidential election of November 5th was a mandate like has not been seen in many decades. We won all 7 swing states, giving us an electoral college victory of 312 votes. We won the popular vote by big numbers and won counties in our country.
Here we go. And sit down, sit down, sit down.
And won counties in our country, 2,700 to 525, on a map that reads almost completely red for Republican. Now, for the first time in modern history, more Americans believe that our country is headed in the right direction than the wrong direction. In fact, it's an astonishing record, 27-point swing, the most ever. Likewise, small business optimism saw its single largest one-month gain ever recorded, a 41-point jump.
Members are directed to uphold and maintain decorum in the House and to cease any further disruptions. That's your warning.
Get him out of here. Get him out of here. What are we doing?
Members are engaging in willful and continuing breach of decorum, and the chair is prepared to direct the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order to the joint session.
You want to get kicked out, that's all.
Mr. Green, take your seat. Take your seat, sir. Take your seat.
Man, what are you doing? He want to get kicked out.
Finding that members continue to engage in willful and concerted disruption of proper decorum, the chair now directs the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order.
Get him out of here.
Remove this gentleman from the chamber.
Hey, take you and your silk press with you. Do you need some help, sir? You need a wheelchair with your cane and your silk press?
Members are directed to uphold and maintain decorum in the House. Mr. President, you continue.
Thank you. Over the past 6 weeks, I have signed nearly 100 executive orders and taken more than 400 executive actions, a record to restore common sense, safety, optimism, and wealth all across our wonderful land. The people elected me to do the job, and I'm doing it. In fact, it has been stated by many that the first month of our presidency, it's our presidency, is the most successful in the history of our nation. By many. And what makes it even more impressive is that, do you know who number 2 is? George Washington. How about that? How about that? I don't know about that list, but we'll take it. Within hours of taking the oath of office, I declared a national emergency on our southern border, and I deployed the U.S. military and Border Patrol to repel the invasion of our country. And what a job they've done. As a result, illegal border crossings last month were by far the lowest ever recorded, ever. They heard my words and they chose not to come. Much easier that way. In comparison, under Joe Biden, the worst president in American history, there were hundreds of thousands of illegal crossings a month, and virtually all of them, including murderers, drug dealers, gang members, and people from mental institutions and insane asylums, were released into our country. Who would want to do that? This is my fifth such speech to Congress. And once again, I look at the Democrats in front of me, and I realize there is absolutely nothing I can say to make them happy or to make them stand or smile or applaud. Nothing I can do. I could find a cure to the most devastating disease, a disease that would wipe out entire nations, or announce the answers to the greatest economy in history, or the stoppage of crime to the lowest levels ever recorded. And these people sitting right here will not clap, will not stand, and certainly will not cheer for these astronomical achievements. They won't do it, no matter what. Five times I've been up here. It's very sad, and it just shouldn't be this way. So Democrats sitting before me, for just this one night, why not join us in celebrating so many incredible wins for America? For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
She slobbing or something? What's going on?
Every day my administration is fighting to deliver the change America needs to bring a future that America deserves, and we're doing it. This is a time for big dreams and bold action. Upon taking office, I imposed an immediate freeze on all federal hiring, a freeze on all new federal regulations, and a freeze on all foreign aid. I terminated the ridiculous Green New Scam. I withdrew from the unfair Paris Climate Accord, which was costing us trillions of dollars that other countries were not paying. I withdrew from the corrupt World Health Organization. And I also withdrew from the anti-American UN Human Rights Council. We ended all of Biden's environmental restrictions that were making our country far less safe and totally unaffordable. And importantly, we ended the last administration's insane electric vehicle mandate, saving our auto workers and companies from economic destruction. To unshackle our economy, I have directed that for every one new regulation, 10 old regulations must be eliminated, just like I did in my very successful first term. And in that first term, we set records on ending unnecessary rules and regulations like no other president had done before. We ordered all federal workers to return to the office they will either show up for work in person or be removed from their job. And we've ended weaponized government where, as an example, a sitting president is allowed to viciously prosecute his political opponent, like me. How did that work out?
Hey, how did that work out? Not too well, did it? The signs are funny.
And I have stopped all government censorship and brought back free speech in America. It's back. And 2 days ago, I signed an order making English the official language of the United States of America. I renamed the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America. And likewise, I renamed, for a great president, William McKinley, Mount McKinley again. Beautiful Alaska. We love Alaska. We've ended the tyranny of so-called diversity, equity, and inclusion policies all across the entire federal government and indeed the private sector and our military.
That's all it is.
Our country will be woke no longer. We believe that whether you are a doctor, an accountant, a lawyer, or an air traffic controller, you should be hired and promoted based on skill and competence, not race or gender.
Yes.
Very important.
Yes.
You should be hired based on merit. And the Supreme Court, in a brave and very powerful decision, has allowed us to do so. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. We have removed the poison of critical race theory from our public schools, and I signed an order making it the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female.
Just two.
I also signed an executive order to ban men from playing in women's sports. Three years ago, Peyton McNabb was an all-star high school athlete, one of the best, preparing for a future in college sports. But when her girls' volleyball match was invaded by a male, he smashed the ball so hard in Peyton's face, causing traumatic brain injury, partially paralyzing her right side and ending her athletic career. It was a shot like she's never seen before. She's never seen anything like it. Peyton is here tonight in the gallery, and Peyton, from now on, schools will kick the men off the girls' team or they will lose all federal funding. And if you really want to see numbers, Just take a look at what happened in the women's boxing, weightlifting, track and field, swimming, or cycling, where a male recently finished a long-distance race 5 hours and 14 minutes ahead of a woman for a new record by 5 hours. Broke the record by 5 hours. It's demeaning for women, and it's very bad for our country. We're not going to put up with it any longer. What I have just described is only a small fraction of the common sense revolution that is now, because of us, sweeping the entire world. Common sense has become a common theme, and we will never go back. Never. Never going to let that happen. Among my very highest priorities is to rescue our economy and get dramatic and immediate relief to working families. As you know, we inherited from the last administration an economic catastrophe and an inflation nightmare. Their policies drove up energy prices, pushed up grocery costs, and drove the necessities of life out of reach for millions and millions of Americans. They've never had anything like it. We suffered the worst inflation in 48 years, but perhaps even in the history of our country. They're not sure. As president, I'm fighting every day to reverse this damage and make America affordable again. Joe Biden especially let the price of eggs get out of control. The egg price is out of control, and we're working hard to get it back down. Secretary, do a good job on that. You inherited a total mess from the previous administration. Do a good job.
They're mad about that. Bye.
A major focus of our fight to defeat inflation is rapidly reducing the cost of energy. The previous administration cut the number of new oil and gas leases by 95%, slowed pipeline construction to a halt, and closed more than 100 power plants. We are opening up many of those power plants right now. And frankly, we have never seen anything like it. That's why on my first day in office, I declared a national energy emergency. As you've heard me say many times, we have more liquid gold under our feet than any nation on earth, and by far. And now I fully authorize the most talented team ever assembled to go and get it. It's called Drill, Baby, Drill. My administration is also working on a gigantic natural gas pipeline in Alaska, among the largest in the world, where Japan, South Korea, and other nations want to be our partner with investments of trillions of dollars each. There's never been anything like that one. It will be truly spectacular. It's all set to go. The permitting is gotten. And later this week, I will also take historic action to dramatically expand production of critical minerals and rare earths here in the USA. To further combat inflation, we will not only be reducing the cost of energy, but will be ending the flagrant waste of taxpayer dollars. And to that end, I have created the brand new Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE. Perhaps you've heard of it.
Yeah.
Which is headed by Elon Musk, who is in the gallery tonight.
Hey, what is... Mad.
Thank you, Elon. He's working very hard. He didn't need this. He didn't need this. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Everybody here, even this side, appreciates it, I believe. They just don't want to admit that. Just listen to some of the appalling waste we have already identified. $22 billion from HHS to provide free housing and cars for illegal aliens. $45 million for diversity, equity, and inclusion scholarships in Burma. $40 million to improve the social and economic inclusion of sedentary migrants. Nobody knows what that is. $8 million to promote LGBTQI+ in the African nation of Lesotho, which nobody has ever heard of. $60 million for indigenous peoples and Afro-Colombian empowerment in Central America. $60 million. $8 million for making mice transgender. This is real. $32 million for a left-wing propaganda operation in Moldova. $10 million for male circumcision in Mozambique. $20 million for the Arab Sesame Street in the Middle East. It's a program. $20 million for a program. $1.9 billion to recently created Decarbonization of Homes Committee, headed up, and we know she's involved. Just at the last moment, the money was passed over by a woman named Stacey Abrams. Have you ever heard of her? A $3.5 million consulting contract for lavish fish monitoring. $1.5 million for voter confidence in Liberia. $14 million for social cohesion in Mali. $59 million for illegal alien hotel rooms in New York City. He's a real estate developer. He's done very well. $250,000 to increase vegan local climate action innovation in Zambia. $42 million for social and behavior change in Uganda. $14 million for improving public procurement in Serbia. $47 million for improving learning outcomes in Asia. Asia's doing very well with learning. We know what we're doing. Should use it ourselves. And $101 million for DEI contracts at the Department of Education, the most ever paid, nothing even like it. Under the Trump administration, all of these scams, and they're far worse, but I didn't think it was appropriate to talk about them. They're so bad. Many more have been found out and exposed and swiftly terminated by a group of very intelligent, mostly young people, headed up by Elon, and we appreciate it. We found hundreds of billions of dollars of fraud. And we've taken back the money and reduced our debt to fight inflation and other things. Taking back a lot of that money. We got it just in time. This is just the beginning. The Government Accountability Office, a federal government office, has estimated annual fraud of over $500 billion in our nation, and we are working very hard to stop it. We're going to. We're also identifying shocking levels of incompetence and probable fraud in the Social Security program for our seniors, and that our seniors and people that we love rely on. Believe it or not, government databases list 4.7 million Social Security members from people aged 100 to 109 years old. It lists 3.6 million people from ages 110 to 119. I don't know any of them. I know some people that are rather elderly, but not quite that elderly. 3.47 million people from ages 120 to 129. 3.9 million people from ages 130 to 139. 3.5 million people from ages 140 to 149. And money is being paid to many of them. And we're searching right now. In fact, Pam, good luck. Good luck. You're going to find it. But a lot of money is paid out to people because it just keeps getting paid, and nobody does. And it really hurts Social Security and hurts our country. 1.3 million people from ages 150 to 159, and over 130,000 people, according to the Social Security databases, are age over 160 years old. We have a healthier country than I thought, Bobby.
Shout out RFK Jr.
Including, to finish, 1,039 people between the ages of 220 and 229, one person between the age of 240 and 249, and one person is listed at 360 years of age. More than 100 years, more than 100 years older than our country. But we're going to find out where that money's going, and it's not going to be pretty. By slashing all of the fraud, waste, and theft we can find, we will defeat inflation, bring down mortgage rates, lower car payments and grocery prices, protect our seniors, and put more money in the pockets of American families. And today, interest rates took a beautiful drop, big, beautiful drop. It's about time. And in the near future, I want to do what has not been done in 24 years, balance the federal budget. We're going to balance it. With that goal in mind, we have developed in great detail what we are calling the Gold Card, which goes on sale very, very soon. For $5 million, we will allow the most successful job-creating people from all over the world to buy a path to U.S. citizenship. It's like the green card, but better and more sophisticated. And these people will have to pay tax in our country. They won't have to pay tax from where they came. The money that they've made, you wouldn't want to do that, but they have to pay tax, create jobs. They'll also be taking people out of colleges and paying for them so that we can keep them in our country instead of having them being forced out. Number one, at the top school, as an example, being forced out and not being allowed to stay and create tremendous numbers of jobs and great success for a company out there. So while we take out the criminals, killers, traffickers, and child predators who are allowed to enter our country under the open border policy of these people, the Democrats, the Biden administration, the open border insane policies that you've allowed to destroy our country, we will now bring in brilliant, hardworking, job-creating people. They're going to pay a lot of money, and we're going to reduce our debt with that money. Americans have given us a mandate for bold and profound change. For nearly 100 years, the federal bureaucracy has grown until it has crushed our freedoms, ballooned our deficits, and held back America's potential in every possible way. The nation founded by pioneers and risk-takers now drowns under millions and millions of pages of regulations and debt. Approvals that should take 10 days to get instead take 10 years, 15 years, and even 20 years before you're rejected. Meanwhile, we have hundreds of thousands of federal workers who have not been showing up to work. My administration will reclaim power from this unaccountable bureaucracy, and we will restore true democracy to America again. And any federal bureaucrat who resists this change will be removed from office immediately. Because we are draining the swamp. It's very simple. And the days of rule by unelected bureaucrats are over. And the next phase of our plan to deliver the greatest economy in history is for this Congress to pass tax cuts for everybody. They're in there. They're waiting for you to vote. And I'm sure that the people on my right, I don't mean the Republican right, but my right here, I'm sure you're going to vote for those tax cuts, because otherwise I don't believe the people will ever vote you into office. So I'm doing you a big favor by telling you that. But I know this group is going to be voting for the tax. Thank you. It's a very, very big part of our plan. We had tremendous success in our first term with it. A very big part of our plan. We're seeking permanent income tax cuts all across the board. And to get urgently needed relief to Americans hit especially hard by inflation, I'm calling for no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security benefits for our great seniors. And I also want to make interest payments on car loans tax deductible, but only if the car is made in America.
Smart idea. I like it.
And by the way, we're going to have growth in the auto industry like nobody's ever seen. Plants are opening up all over the place. Deals are being made. Never seen. That's a combination of the election win and tariffs. It's a beautiful word, isn't it? That, along with our other policies, will allow our auto industry to absolutely boom. It's going to boom. Spoke to the majors today, all three, the top people, and they're so excited. In fact, already numerous car companies have announced that they will be building massive automobile plants in America, with Honda just announcing a new plant in Indiana, one of the largest anywhere in the world. And this has taken place since our great victory on November 5th, a date which will hopefully go down as one of the most important in the history of our country. In addition, as part of our tax cuts, we want to cut taxes on domestic production and all manufacturing. And just as we did before, we will provide 100% expensing. It will be retroactive to January 20th, 2025. And it was one of the main reasons why our tax cuts were so successful in our first term, giving us the most successful economy in the history of our country. First term. We had a great first term.
That first term was great. My, it was amazing.
If you don't make your product in America, however, under the Trump administration, you will pay a tariff, and in some cases, a rather large one. Other countries have used tariffs against us for decades, and now it's our turn to start using them against those other countries. On average, the European Union, China, Brazil, India, Mexico, and Canada, have you heard of them? And countless other nations charge us tremendously higher tariffs than we charge them. It's very unfair. India charges us auto tariffs higher than 100%. China's average tariff on our products is twice what we charge them. And South Korea's average tariff is 4 times higher. Think of that, 4 times higher. And we give so much help militarily and in so many other ways to South Korea. But that's what happens. This is happening by friend and foe. This system is not fair to the United States and never was. And so on April 2nd, I wanted to make it April 1st, but I didn't want to be accused of April Fool's Day.
Right.
That's not, just one day was cost us a lot of money. But we're going to do it in April. I'm a very superstitious person. April 2nd, reciprocal tariffs kick in. And whatever they tariff us, other countries, we will tariff them. That's reciprocal, back and forth. Whatever they tax us, we will tax them. If they do non-monetary tariffs to keep us out of their market, then we will do non-monetary barriers to keep them out of our market. There's a lot of that, too. They don't even allow us in their market. We will take in trillions and trillions of dollars and create jobs like we have never seen before. I did it with China and I did it with others, and the Biden administration couldn't do anything about it because there was so much money they couldn't do anything about it. We have been ripped off for decades by nearly every country on earth, and we will not let that happen any longer. Much has been said over the last 3 months about Mexico and Canada, but we have very large deficits with both of them. But even more importantly, they've allowed fentanyl to come into our country at levels never seen before, killing hundreds of thousands of our citizens and many very young, beautiful people, destroying families. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. They are, in effect, receiving subsidies of hundreds of billions of dollars. We pay subsidies to Canada and to Mexico of hundreds of billions of dollars, and the United States will not be doing that any longer. We're not going to do it any longer. Thanks to our America First policies we're putting into place, we have had $1.7 trillion of new investment in America in just the past few weeks. The combination of the election and our economic policies that people of SoftBank, one of the most brilliant anywhere in the world, announced a $200 billion investment. OpenAI and Oracle, Larry Ellison, announced $500 billion investment, which they wouldn't have done if Kamala had won. Apple announced $500 billion investment. Tim Cook called me. He said, I cannot spend it fast enough. It's going to be much higher than that, I believe. They'll be building their plants here instead of in China. And just yesterday, Taiwan Semiconductor, the biggest in the world, most powerful in the world, has a tremendous amount, 97% of the market, announced a $165 billion investment to build the most powerful chips on earth right here in the USA. And we're not giving them any money. Your CHIPS Act is a horrible horrible thing. We give hundreds of billions of dollars, and it doesn't mean a thing. They take our money and they don't spend it. All that meant to them, we're giving them no money. All that was important to them was they didn't want to pay the tariffs, so they came and they're building, and many other companies are coming. We don't have to give them money. We just want to protect our businesses and our people, and they will come because they won't have to pay tariffs if they build in America. So it's very amazing. You should get rid of the CHIP Act, and whatever's left over, Mr. Speaker, you should use it to reduce debt or any other reason you want to. Our new trade policy will also be great for the American farmer. I love the farmer. Who will now be selling into our home market, the USA, because nobody is going to be able to compete with you. Because those goods that come in from other countries and companies, they're really in a bad position in so many different ways. They're uninspected. They may be very dirty and disgusting, and they come in and they pour in, and they hurt our American farmers. The tariffs will go on agricultural product coming into America, and our farmers, starting on April 2nd, it may be a little bit of an adjustment period. We had that before when I made the deal with China, $50 billion of purchases, and I said, just bear with me, and they did. They did. Probably have to bear with me again, and this will be even better. That was great. The problem with it was that Biden didn't enforce it. He didn't enforce it. $50 billion of purchases, and we were doing great, but Biden did not enforce it, and it hurt our farmers. But our farmers are going to have a field day right now. So to our farmers, have a lot of fun. I love you too. I love you too. It's all going to happen. And I have also imposed a 25% tariff on foreign aluminum, copper, lumber, and steel, because if we don't have, as an example, steel and lots of other things, we don't have a military, and frankly, we just won't have a country very long. Here today is a proud American steelworker, fantastic person from Decatur, Alabama, Jeff Denard. Has been working at the same steel plant for 27 years in a job that has allowed him to serve as the captain of his local volunteer fire department, raise 7 children with his beautiful wife, Nicole, and over the years provide a loving home for more than 40 foster children. So great, Jeff. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Jeff. Stories like Jeff's remind us that tariffs are not just about protecting American jobs. They're about protecting the soul of our country. Tariffs are about making America rich again and making America great again, and it's happening, and it will happen rather quickly. There'll be a little disturbance, but we're okay with that. It won't be much. No, you're not. Oh. And look where Biden took us. Very low, the lowest we've ever been. Jeff, I want to thank you very much. And I also want to recognize another person who has devoted herself to foster care community. She works so hard on it. A very loving person, our magnificent First Lady of the United States. Melania's work has yielded incredible results, helping prepare our nation's future leaders as they enter the workforce. Our First Lady is joined by 2 impressive young women, very impressive. Haley Ferguson, who benefited from the First Lady's Fostering the Future initiative and is poised to complete her education and become a teacher. And Elliston Berry, who became a victim of an illicit deepfake image produced by a peer. With Elliston's help, the Senate just passed the Take It Down Act, and this is so important. Thank you very much, John. John Thune, thank you. Stand up, John. Thank you, John. Thank you all very much. Thank you. And thank you to John Thune and the Senate. Great job. To criminalize the publication of such images online is terrible, terrible thing. And once it passes the House, I look forward to signing that bill into law. Thank you. And I'm going to use that bill for myself, too, if you don't mind. Because nobody gets treated worse than I do online. Nobody. That's great. Thank you very much to the Senate. Thank you. But if we truly care about protecting Americans' children, no step is more crucial than securing America's borders. Over the past 4 years, 21 million people poured into the United States. Many of them were murderers, human traffickers, gang members, and other criminals from the streets of dangerous cities all throughout the world. Because of Joe Biden's insane and very dangerous open border policies, they are now strongly embedded in our country, but we are getting them out and getting them out fast. And I want to thank Tom Homan and Christy. I want to thank you and Paul of Border Patrol. I want to thank you. What a job they've all done. Everybody, Border Patrol, ICE, law enforcement in general is incredible. We have to take care of our law enforcement. Have to. Last year, a brilliant 22-year-old nursing student named Laken Riley, the best in her class, admired by everybody, went out for a jog on the campus of the University of Georgia. That morning, Laken was viciously attacked, assaulted, beaten, brutalized, and horrifically murdered. Laken was stolen from us by a savage illegal alien gang member who was arrested while trespassing across Biden's open southern border and then set loose into the United States under the heartless policies of that failed administration. It was indeed a failed administration. He had then been arrested and released in a Democrat-run sanctuary city, a disaster, before ending the life of this beautiful young angel. With us this evening are Laken's beloved mother, Allison, and her sister, Lauren. Last year, I told Laken's grieving parents that we would ensure their daughter would not have died in vain. That's why the very first bill I signed into law as your 47th president mandates the detention of all dangerous criminal aliens who threaten public safety. It's a very strong, powerful act. It's called the Laken-Riley Act. So Allison and Lauren, America will never, ever forget our beautiful Laken Hope Riley. Thank you very much. Since taking office, my administration has launched the most sweeping border and immigration crackdown in American history, and we quickly achieved the lowest numbers of illegal border crossers ever recorded. Thank you. The media and our friends in the Democrat Party kept saying we needed new legislation. We must have legislation to secure the border. But it turned out that all we really needed was a new president.
Exactly.
Thank you. Joe Biden didn't just open our borders, he flew illegal aliens over them to overwhelm our schools, hospitals, and communities throughout the country. Entire towns like Aurora, Colorado, and Springfield, Ohio, buckled under the weight of the migrant occupation and corruption like nobody's ever seen before. Beautiful towns destroyed. Now, just as I promised in my inaugural address, we are achieving the great liberation of America. But there still is much work to be done. Here tonight is a woman I have gotten to know, Alexis Nungari from Houston. Wonderful woman. Last June, Alexis's 12-year-old daughter, her precious Jocelyn, walked to a nearby convenience store. She was kidnapped, tied up, assaulted for 2 hours under a bridge, and horrifically murdered. Arrested and charged with this heinous crime are 2 illegal alien monsters from Venezuela, released into America by the last administration through their ridiculous open border. The death of this beautiful 12-year-old girl and the agony of her mother and family touched our entire nation greatly. Alexis, I promised that we would always remember your daughter, your magnificent daughter, and earlier tonight I signed an order keeping my word to you. One thing I have learned about Jocelyn is that she loved animals so much. She loved nature. Across Galveston Bay, from where Jocelyn lived in Houston, you will find a magnificent national wildlife refuge, a pristine, peaceful, 34,000-acre sanctuary for all of God's creatures on the edge of the Gulf of America. Alexis, moments ago, I formally renamed that refuge in loving memory of your beautiful daughter, Jocelyn. So, Mr. Vice President, if you would, may I have the order? Thank you very much. All 3 savages charged with Jocelyn and Lakin's murders were members of the Venezuelan prison gang, the toughest gang, they say, in the world, known as Tren de Aragua. 2 weeks ago, I officially designated this gang, along with MS-13 and the bloodthirsty Mexican drug cartels, as foreign terrorist organizations. They are now officially in the same category as ISIS, and that's not good for them. Countless thousands of these terrorists were welcomed into the U.S. by the Biden administration. But now every last one will be rounded up and forcibly removed from our country, or, if they're too dangerous, put in jails, standing trial in this country, because we don't want them to come back ever. With us this evening is a warrior on the front lines of that battle, Border Patrol Agent Roberto Ortiz. Great guy. In January, Roberto and another agent were patrolling by the Rio Grande near an area known as Cartel Island. Doesn't sound too nice to me. When heavily armed gunmen started shooting at them, Roberto saw that his partner was totally exposed, at great danger, and he leapt into action, returning fire and providing crucial seconds for his fellow agent to seek safety, just barely. I have some of the prints of that event, and it was not good. Agent Ortiz, we salute you for your great courage and for your line of fire that you took and for the bravery that you showed. We honor you, and we will always honor you. Thank you, Roberto, very much. Thank you, Roberto. And I actually got to know him on my many calls to the border. He's a great gentleman. The territory to the immediate south of our border is now dominated entirely by criminal cartels that murder, rape, torture, and exercise total control. They have total control over a whole nation, posing a grave threat to our national security. The cartels are waging war on America, and it's time for America to wage war on the cartels, which we are doing. Five nights ago, Mexican authorities, because of our tariff policies being imposed on them, think of this, handed over to us 29 of the biggest cartel leaders in their country. That has never happened before. They want to make us happy. First time ever. But we need Mexico and Canada to do much more than they've done, and they have to stop the fentanyl and drugs pouring into the USA. They're going to stop it. I have sent Congress a detailed funding request laying out exactly how we will eliminate these threats to protect our homeland and complete the largest deportation operation in American history, larger even than current record holder President Dwight D. Eisenhower, a moderate man but someone who believed very strongly in borders. Americans expect Congress to send me this funding without delay so I can sign it into law. So, Mr. Speaker, John Thune, both of you, I hope you're going to be able to do that, Mr. Speaker. Thank you. Mr. Leader, thank you. Thank you very much. And let's get it to me. I'll sign it so fast, you won't even believe it. And as we reclaim our sovereignty, we must also bring back law and order to our cities and towns. In recent years, our justice system has been turned upside down by radical left lunatics. Many jurisdictions virtually ceased enforcing the law against dangerous repeat offenders while weaponizing law enforcement against political opponents like me. My administration has acted swiftly and decisively to restore fair, equal, and impartial justice under the constitutional rule of law, starting at the FBI and the DOJ. Pam, good luck. Cash, wherever you may be, good luck. Good luck. Pam Bondi. Good luck. So important. Going to do a great job. Cash, thank you. Thank you, Cash. They've already started very strong. They're going to do a fantastic job. You're going to be very proud of them. We're also once again giving our police officers the support, protection, and respect they so dearly deserve. They have to get it. They have such a hard, dangerous job, but we're going to make it less dangerous. The problem is the bad guys don't respect the law, but they're starting to respect it, and they soon will respect it. This also includes our great fire departments throughout the country. Our firemen and women are unbelievable people, and we'll never forget them. And besides that, they voted for me in record numbers, so I have no choice. 1 year ago this month, 31-year-old New York police officer Jonathan Diller, unbelievably wonderful person and a great officer, was gunned down at a traffic stop on Long Island. I went to his funeral. The vicious criminal charged with his murder had 21 prior arrests, and they were rough arrests, too. He was a real bad one. The thug in the seat next to him had 14 prior arrests and went by the name of Killer. He was Killer. He killed other people, they say, a lot of them. I attended Officer Diller's service, and when I met his wife and one-year-old son, Ryan, it was very inspirational, actually. His widow's name is Stephanie, and she is here tonight. Stephanie, thank you very much, Stephanie. Thank you very much. Stephanie, we're going to make sure that Ryan knows his dad was a true hero, New York's finest, and we're going to get these cold-blooded killers and repeat offenders off our streets, and we're going to do it fast. Got to stop it. They get out with 28 arrests. They push people into subway trains. They hit people over the head, back of the head with baseball bats. We got to get them out of here. I've already signed an executive order requiring a mandatory death penalty for anyone who murders a police officer, and tonight I'm asking Congress to pass that policy into permanent law. I'm also asking for a new crime bill getting tough on repeat offenders while enhancing protections for America's police officers so they can do their jobs without fear of their lives being totally destroyed. They don't want to be killed. We're not going to let them be killed. Joining us in the gallery tonight is a young man who truly loves our police. His name is DJ Daniel. He is 13 years old, and he has always dreamed of becoming a police officer.
Okay. A little boy. Okay, I get it.
But in 2018, DJ was diagnosed with brain cancer. The doctors gave him 5 months at most to live. That was more than 6 years ago.
I didn't know. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Since that time, DJ and his dad have been on a quest to make his dream come true, and DJ has been sworn in as an honorary law enforcement officer actually a number of times. The police love him. The police departments love him. And tonight, DJ, we're going to do you the biggest honor of them all. I am asking our new Secret Service Director, Sean Curran, to officially make you an agent of the United States Secret Service.
That is amazing. I love it. Shout out to him. Oh, look at that. Oh, man. Oh. About to start crying, man.
Thank you, DJ. DJ's doctors believe his cancer likely came from a chemical he was exposed to when he was younger. Since 1975, rates of child cancer have increased by more than 40%. Reversing this trend is one of the top priorities for our new presidential commission to make America healthy again, chaired by our new Secretary of Health and Human Services, Robert F. Kennedy, Jr. With the name Kennedy, you would have thought everybody over here would have been cheering. How quickly they forget. Our goal is to get toxins out of our environment, poisons out of our food supply, and keep our children healthy and strong. As an example, not long ago, and you can't even believe these numbers, 1 in 10,000 children had autism, 1 in 10,000. And now it's 1 in 36. There's something wrong. 1 in 36. Think of that. So we're going to find out what it is, and there's nobody better than Bobby and all of the people that are working with you. You have the best to figure out what is going on. Okay, Bobby? Good luck. It's a very important job. Thank you. Thank you. My administration is also working to protect our children from toxic ideologies in our schools. A few years ago, January Littlejohn and her husband discovered that their daughter's school had secretly socially transitioned their 13-year-old little girl. Teachers and administrators conspired to deceive January and her husband while encouraging her daughter to use a new name and pronouns. They, them pronoun, actually, all without telling January, who is here tonight and is now a courageous advocate against this form of child abuse. January, thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Stories like this are why, shortly after taking office, I signed an executive order banning public schools from indoctrinating our children with transgender ideology. I also signed an order to cut off all taxpayer funding to any institution that engages in the sexual mutilation of our youth. And now I want Congress to pass a bill permanently banning and criminalizing sex changes on children and forever ending the lie that any child is trapped in the wrong body. This is a big lie. And our message to every child in America is that you are perfect exactly the way God made you. Because we're getting wokeness out of our schools and out of our military, and it's already out, and it's out of our society. We don't want it. Wokeness is trouble. Wokeness is bad. It's gone. It's gone. And we feel so much better for it, don't we? Don't we feel better? Our service members won't be activists and ideologues. They will be fighters and warriors. They will fight for our country. And Pete, congratulations. Secretary of Defense, congratulations. And he's not big into the woke movement, I can tell you. I know him well. I am pleased to report that in January, the U.S. Army had its single best recruiting month in 15 years, and that all armed services are having among the best recruiting results ever in the history of our services. What a difference. And you know, it was just a few months ago where the results were exactly the opposite. We couldn't recruit anywhere. We couldn't recruit. Now we're having the best results just about that we've ever had. What a tremendous turnaround. It's really a beautiful thing to see. People love our country again. It's very simple. They love our country, and they love being in our military again. So it's a great thing, and thank you very much. Great job. Thank you. We're joined tonight by a young man, Jason Hartley, who knows the weight of that call of duty. Jason's father, grandfather, and great-grandfather all wore the uniform. Jason tragically lost his dad, who was also a Los Angeles County Sheriff's deputy when he was just a boy, and now he wants to carry on the family legacy of service. Jason is a senior in high school, a 6-letter varsity athlete, a really good athlete, they say, a brilliant student with a 4.46, that's good, GPA. And his greatest dream is to attend the U.S. Military Academy at West Point. And Jason, that's a very big deal getting in. That's a hard one to get into. But I'm pleased to inform you that your application has been accepted. You will soon be joining the Corps of Cadets. Thank you. Jason, you're going to be on the long gray line, Jason. As Commander-in-Chief, my focus is on building the most powerful military of the future. As a first step, I'm asking Congress to fund a state-of-the-art Golden Dome missile defense shield to protect our homeland, all made in the USA. And Ronald Reagan wanted to do it long ago, but the technology just wasn't there, not even close. But now we have the technology. It's incredible, actually. And other places, they have it. Israel has it. Other places have it. And the United States should have it too, right, Tim, right? They should have it too. So I want to thank you. But it's a very, very important. This is a very dangerous world. We should have it. We want to be protected, and we're going to protect our citizens like never before. To boost our defense industrial base, we are also going to resurrect the American shipbuilding industry, including commercial shipbuilding and military shipbuilding. And for that purpose, I am announcing tonight that we will create a new Office of Shipbuilding in the White House and offer special tax incentives to bring this industry home to America where it belongs. We used to make so many ships. We don't make them anymore very much, but we're going to make them very fast, very soon. It will have a huge impact. To further enhance our national security, my administration will be reclaiming the Panama Canal, and we've already started doing it. Just today, a large American company announced they are buying both ports around the Panama Canal and lots of other things having to do with the Panama Canal and a couple of other canals. The Panama Canal was built by Americans for Americans, not for others, but others could use it. But it was built at tremendous cost of American blood and treasure. 38,000 workers died building the Panama Canal. They died of malaria. They died of snake bites and mosquitoes. Not a nice place to work. They paid them very highly to go there, knowing there was a 25% chance that they would die. The most expensive project also that was ever built in our country's history, if you bring it up to modern day costs. It was given away by the Carter administration for $1. But that agreement has been violated very severely. We didn't give it to China. We gave it to Panama, and we're taking it back. And we have Marco Rubio in charge. Good luck, Marco. Now, we know who to blame if anything goes wrong. Marco's been amazing, and he's going to do a great job. Think of it. He got 100 votes. You know, he was approved with actually 99, but the 100th was this gentleman, and I feel very certain. So let's assume he got 100 votes, and I'm either very, very happy about that or I'm very concerned about it. But he's already proven. I mean, he's a great gentleman. He's respected by everybody, and we appreciate you voting for Marco. He's going to do a fantastic job. Thank you. Thank you. He's doing a great job. Great job. And I also have a message tonight for the incredible people of Greenland. We strongly support your right to determine your own future. And if you choose, we welcome you into the United States of America. We need Greenland for national security and even international security, and we're working with everybody involved to try and get it. But we need it really for international world security, and I think we're going to get it. One way or the other, we're going to get it.
Uh-oh.
We will keep you safe. We will make you rich, and together we will take Greenland to heights like you have never thought possible before. It's a very small population, but very, very large piece of land and very, very important for military security. America is once again standing strong against the forces of radical Islamic terrorism. 3.5 years ago, ISIS terrorists killed 13 American service members and countless others in the Abbey Gate bombing during the disastrous and incompetent withdrawal from Afghanistan. Not that they were withdrawing, it was the way they withdrew. Perhaps the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. Tonight, I am pleased to announce that we have just apprehended the top terrorist responsible for that atrocity, and he is right now on his way here to face the swift sword of American justice. And I want to thank especially the government of Pakistan for helping arrest this monster. This was a very momentous day for those 13 families who I actually got to know very well, most of them, whose children were murdered, and the many people that were so badly, over 42 people, so badly injured on that fateful day in Afghanistan. What a horrible day. Such incompetence was shown that when Putin saw what happened, I guess he said, wow, maybe this is my chance. That's how bad it was. Should have never happened. Grossly incompetent people. I spoke to many of the parents and loved ones, and they're all in our hearts tonight. Just spoke to them on the phone. We had a big call. Every one of them called, and everybody was on the line, and they did nothing but cry with happiness. They were very happy, as happy as you can be under those circumstances. Their child, brother, sister, son, daughter was killed for no reason whatsoever. In the Middle East, we're bringing back our hostages from Gaza. In my first term, we achieved one of the most groundbreaking peace agreements in generations, the Abraham Accords. And now we're going to build on that foundation to create a more peaceful and prosperous future for the entire region. A lot of things are happening in the Middle East. People have been talking about that so much lately with everything going on with Ukraine and Russia. But a lot of things are happening in the Middle East. It's a rough neighborhood, actually. I'm also working tirelessly to end the savage conflict in Ukraine. Millions of Ukrainians and Russians have been needlessly killed or wounded in this horrific and brutal conflict with no end in sight. The United States has sent hundreds of billions of dollars to support Ukraine's defense with no security, with no anything. Do you want to keep it going for another 5 years? Yeah, you would say Pocahontas says yes. 2,000 people are being killed every single week. More than that. They're Russian young people. They're Ukrainian young people. They're not Americans. But I want it to stop. Meanwhile, Europe has sadly spent more money buying Russian oil and gas than they have spent on defending Ukraine, by far. Think of that. They've spent more buying Russian oil and gas than they have defending. And we've spent perhaps $350 billion, like taking candy from a baby. That's what happened. And they've spent $100 billion. What a difference that is. And we have an ocean separating us, and they don't. But we're getting along very well with them, and lots of good things are happening. Biden has authorized more money in this fight than Europe has spent by billions and billions of dollars. It's hard to believe that they wouldn't have stopped it and said, at some point, come on, let's equalize. You got to be equal to us. But that didn't happen. Earlier today, I received an important letter from President Zelensky of Ukraine. The letter reads, Ukraine is ready to come to the negotiating table as soon as possible to bring lasting peace closer. Nobody wants peace more than the Ukrainians, he said. My team and I stand ready to work under President Trump's strong leadership to get a peace that lasts. We do really value how much America has done to help Ukraine maintain its sovereignty and independence. Regarding the agreement on minerals and security, Ukraine is ready to sign it at any time that is convenient for you. I appreciate that he sent this letter, just got it a little while ago. Simultaneously, we've had serious discussions with Russia and have received strong signals that they are ready for peace. Wouldn't that be beautiful? Wouldn't that be beautiful? Wouldn't that be beautiful? It's time to stop this madness. It's time to halt the killing. It's time to end this senseless war. If you want to end wars, you have to talk to both sides. Nearly 4 years ago, amid rising tensions, a history teacher named Mark Fogel was detained in Russia and sentenced to 14 years in a penal colony. Rough stuff. The previous administration barely lifted a finger to help him. They knew he was innocent, but they had no idea where to begin. But last summer, I promised his 95-year-old mother, Malphine, that we would bring her boy safely back home. After 22 days in office, I did just that, and they are here tonight.
Love it.
To Mark and his great mom, we are delighted to have you safe and sound and with us. As fate would have it, Mark Fogel was born in a small rural town in Butler, Pennsylvania. Have you heard of it? Where his mother has lived for the past 78 years. I just happened to go there last July 13th for a rally. That was not pleasant. And that is where I met his beautiful mom right before I walked onto that stage. And I told her I would not forget what she said about her son. And I never did I? Never forgot. Less than 10 minutes later, at that same rally, gunfire rang out and a sick and deranged assassin unloaded 8 bullets from his sniper's perch into a crowd of many thousands of people. My life was saved by a fraction of an inch, but some were not so lucky. Corey Comparator was a firefighter, a veteran, a Christian, a husband, a devoted father, and above all, a protector. When the sound of gunshots pierced the air, it was a horrible sound. Corey knew instantly what it was and what to do. He threw himself on top of his wife and daughters and shielded them from the bullets with his own body. Corey was hit really hard. You know the story from there. He sacrificed his life to save theirs. 2 others, very fine people, were also seriously hit. But thankfully, with the help of 2 great country doctors, we thought they were gone and they were saved. So those doctors had great talent. We're joined by Corey's wife, Helen, who was his high school sweetheart, and their two beloved daughters, Allison and Kaylee. Thank you. To Helen, Allison, and Kaylee, Corey is looking down on his three beautiful ladies right now, and he is cheering you on. He loves you. He is cheering you on. Corey was taken from us much too soon, but his destiny was to leave us all with a shining example of the selfless devotion of a true American patriot. It was love like Corey's that built our country, and it's love like Corey's that is going to make our country more majestic than ever before. I believe that my life was saved that day in Butler for a very good reason. I was saved by God to make America great again. I believe that.
He did get saved by God. He did.
Thank you very much. From the patriots of Lexington and Concord to the heroes of Gettysburg and Normandy, from the warriors who crossed the Delaware to the trailblazers who climbed the Rockies, and from the legends who soared at Kitty Hawk to the astronauts who touched the moon, Americans have always been the people who defied all odds, transcended all dangers, made the most extraordinary sacrifices, and did whatever it took to defend our children, our country, and our freedom. And as we have seen in this chamber tonight, that same strength, faith, love, and spirit is still alive and thriving in the hearts of the American people. Despite the best efforts of those who would try to censor us, silence us, break us, destroy us, Americans are today a proud, free, sovereign, and independent nation that will always be free, and we will fight for it till death. We will never let anything happen to our beloved country, because we are a country of doers, dreamers, fighters, and survivors. Our ancestors crossed a vast ocean, strode into the unknown wilderness, and carved their fortunes from the rock and soil of a perilous and very dangerous frontier. They chased our destiny across a boundless continent. They built the railroads, laid the highways, and graced the world with American marvels like the Empire State Building, the mighty Hoover Dam, and the towering Golden Gate Bridge. They lit the world with electricity, broke free of the force of gravity, fired up the engines of American industry, vanquished the communists, fascists, and Marxists all over the world, and gave us countless modern wonders sculptured out of iron, glass, and steel. We stand on the shoulders of these pioneers who won and built the modern age, these workers who poured their sweat into the skylines of our cities, these warriors who shed their blood on fields of battle and gave everything they had for our rights and for our freedom. Now it is our time to take up the righteous cause of American liberty, and it is our turn to take America's destiny into our own hands and begin the most thrilling days in the history of our country. This will be our greatest era. With God's help, over the next 4 years, we are going to lead this nation even higher, and we are going to forge the freest, most advanced, most dynamic, and most dominant civilization ever to exist on the face of this earth. We are going to create the highest quality of life, build the safest and wealthiest and healthiest and most vital communities anywhere in the world, We are going to conquer the vast frontiers of science, and we are going to lead humanity into space and plant the American flag on the planet Mars and even far beyond. And through it all, we are going to rediscover the unstoppable power of the American spirit. And we are going to renew unlimited promise of the American dream. Every single day, we will stand up and we will fight, fight, fight for the country our citizens believe in and for the country our people deserve. My fellow Americans, get ready for an incredible future because the golden age of America has only just begun. It will be like nothing that has ever been seen before. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
Great speech from my president. Love the speech. It was a long speech. He came out a little after 9 o'clock. I want to say he started at about 9:20. And we're almost about 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we're about an hour and 40, I would say. About an hour and 40 minutes. Great speech. Loved it. Now, we still have the response from the Democrats. Democrat response is next, so we're going to hang tight for that. I'm not sure who's giving a Democratic response, but whoever's giving a Democratic response, I want you guys, whoever is giving the Democratic response, please be hydrated. I don't want to hear no cow licking on the microphone. I want to hear a hydrated person come up and speak. Look, man, I promise, I swear for everything. Coconut water, just drink some of that. Look at that right there. Shout out to the good focus of the camera. Coconut water. Drink that before you go out there. I ain't trying to hear no. It's like we got cows, horses, chickens, ducks. I don't want to hear no quacking. I don't want to hear nothing. Please be hydrated. If I hear one lip smack, I'm turned off. Marco had a really bad episode with that. He had to go real awkward and get the bro. Be hydrated. Don't drink no coffee or anything that has salt in it because it'll dehydrate you. Please, just get one of these and have that in your book bag and you'll be good money. Alrighty. So, what was your opinion about the speech? Did you enjoy it? Was it a good one? I thought it was great. It was a few tearjerker moments. Hey man, you almost saw one tear come out. When they had a little boy, and shout out to the little boy, I apologize because I was kind of joking earlier. I didn't know that was a little boy. But a little boy, when his dad lifted him up and he had the Secret Service badge, and then he gave the Secret Service dude a hug, that right there almost broke me. I was like, wow, that was a moment. And of course, when they show the family, what we got going on right here?
Thank you.
Of course, or you just signing stuff. When they showed the families of Corey Comparatore, when they showed the family of Laken Riley, and I didn't know that Laken Riley's killer was in TDA, the Venezuelan gang. I had no idea. That was news to me. I had no idea that was the reality of that situation. So I thought I saw something flying. It's like, what's going on? We got some... But there's also there's a storm outside where I live. It's kind of calmed down right now, but it might kick up. It's been kind of windy. So if the power goes out, that's why. But overall, yeah, the West Point young man, yeah, going to West Point, that was a good moment. I felt so good for him. It's like we got a young man going from a boy to a man, graduating, going to West Point. He already had the cut. I could see him doing very well in the future. So the youth of the nation being represented at this speech was amazing. I loved it. He had a lot of good points. The Democrats look crazy with their dry erase boards and things of this nature. Yeah, dry erase boards and the little signs. It's like, you guys look so cheesy right now. It's crazy. Okay. Hold on. Mara says, great job, baby. Yo, 20 years from now, you won't be able to hold back the tears. Believe me. Hey, I believe you. I take your word for it, really. Because there was a few moments where I was like, okay, y'all almost got me. Y'all almost made a couple of tears come out. Yeah. So I really, really enjoyed it. Yes, Nancy Mace is very tall. Hey, that's why, hey, I love me a tall, pretty lady. For real. So shout out to Nancy Mace. But shout out to everybody that was there. This was good. Al Green in the beginning, the little pimp Nate slip back. Okay, you get your pimp cane and your silk press. That was a whole stunt to get kicked out. You know what that was. Because there was no reason to do all that extra stuff. It's like, are you a protester or you're a member of Congress? So that was a stunt to try and derail it from the beginning, which was really cringe. Like, this whole thing was planned. You got the dry erase boards, the little signs, and then of course Al Green, not the Al Green, the House rep from Texas, with his little pretty hair or whatever, he gets kicked out. That was so corny. But the little stunts and the dry erase boards and the signs, none of that could stop what happened here, which was a really, really good State of the Union address. It was very, very good. Now, again, we're on the lookout because we have the rebuttal from the Democrat coming up next. And the rebuttal is going to be from Elisa Slotkin, okay? Elisa Slotkin, and I have it queued up here already. It's scheduled for 11:20. Again, the rebuttal will come from Elisa Slotkin, and it is scheduled for 11:20. So in about 15 more minutes. I have it queued up right here. I'm ready for it as soon as she goes live, as soon as that goes live, I'm ready for it. They may change it on C-SPAN, but I have another video already lined up from Associated Press just in case they don't change it over here on C-SPAN. All right. So who can J-Bay Slotkin, like Vegas slots? That's her name. I can't do nothing about it. Oh yeah. And the Pepto-Bismol. So if you guys didn't hear me in the beginning, the female House Democrats were protesting this by wearing all pink. Okay, so that was their thing, to look like big Pepto-Bismol bottles, some bigger than others, okay? And what's going on with Nancy? Did you guys see Nancy Pelosi slobbing? And it's like, at a certain point, it's time to go home. Okie dokie. It is time to go home if you doing all that extra stuff out there. Okay, hold on.
The House will be in order.
And Representative Virginia Fox of North Carolina is gaveling the House out of session as the president has left the House chamber.
I'll tell you what, these are some of the best dressed elderly people you ever seen in your life.
Were the Republicans. And
shout out Steve Scalise. Steve Scalise looks kind of rough, but Steve Scalise obviously almost died. And he's not that old. Scalise is like 59 years old. Steve Scalise is like 59 years old, but he looks much older than that because he almost got killed. And like I was saying earlier, Scalise came out basically with Trump, and they both got shot by leftist lunatics. Scalise got shot at the congressional baseball game years ago, and Trump got shot, obviously, in Butler, Pennsylvania last year from a sniper's perch that nobody saw except for people on the ground, which is a different story that I want to get into right now and not digress. All right. And again, we are waiting now for Elisa Slotkin. Okay. That is her name. Let me put it up right here for you guys so you guys can see what I'm talking about. And y'all know I'm not just making things up. Alrighty. And let me see if I can get full screen. There we go. So this is on Associated Press. Elisa Slotkin delivers Democratic response to Trump, and it is scheduled for 11:20. So in about 12 minutes, 10 seconds, that'll be going on right there. All righty. So listen, yeah, slope roofs, exactly, Dubs08. Slope roofs is like, man, come on. But look, I don't even want to go down that rabbit hole right now because it'll get me triggered all over again. Is that a man? Nah, that ain't a man. And nowadays you gotta check, like, what's going on with the Adam's apple area. And now you can't even really catch for that because they be getting that thing fixed. But nah, this is a biological woman. But look, nowadays you gotta check because they just elected a he, she. Back in my day, you could call somebody a he, she. Now you gotta say she, her. Like, what part of the game is that? Back in my day, if somebody was, a transformer or a cross-dresser, he, she, that was cool. A shim, that was cool. But now that's too offensive. Everybody gonna get offended. Oh, hey, baby, you can't say he, she, you can't say shim, I'm offended. I'm gonna start crying, I'm gonna call the police on you. People are so gay nowadays. It's like, where's the backbone? Where's the strength? Like, come on, bro. Listen, bro, you're 6'5" with a pair of high heels on. You're 6'5" with these big shoulders, looking like a former football player, an old basketball player. Okay, you are a whole athlete. You could probably dunk a basketball right now, and you got a pair of high heels on. I know your feet hurt, but my joke hurts worse than your feet right now. Give me a break. Give me a break. Them big boats, them big size 14 feet belong in a pair of Timberlands, but you got them stuffed in the pair of Louboutin high heels. Like, I don't want to hear that your feelings are hurt at my joke. What hurts more, my joke or them bunions in them heels? I'm tripping. But anyway, again, we have Elisa Slotkin coming up at 11:20, giving a Democratic rebuttal. I don't want to hear from these people right here. They're just on the actual screen. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to come out right here. I'm going to come out right here and just not watch them. But I'll be able to see it over here on this screen. So when they pop up, I'll pop it up for Miss Slotkin. All righty. There we go.
Assistant Defense Secretary in the Obama administration and a former CIA
I'm honored to have the opportunity
analyst.
to speak tonight.
We're going to put the numbers
it's late,
back up
so I
on the
promise to be
screen.
a lot shorter than what you just watched. I won't take it personally if you've never heard of me. I'm the new senator from the great state of Michigan, where I grew up. I've been in public service my entire life because I happened to be in New York City on 9/11 when the Twin Towers came down. Before the smoke cleared, I knew I wanted to make a life in national security. I was recruited by the CIA and did 3 tours in Iraq alongside the military. In between, I worked at the White House under President Bush and President Obama, 2 very different leaders who both believed that America is exceptional. You can find that same sense of patriotism here in Wyandotte, Michigan, where I'm speaking from tonight. It's a working class town just south of Detroit. President Trump and I both won here in November. It might not seem like it, but plenty of places like this still exist across the United States. Places where people believe that if you work hard and play by the rules, you should do well and your kids should do better. It reminds me of how I grew up. My dad was a lifelong Republican, my mom a lifelong Democrat. But it was never a big deal because we had shared values that were bigger than any one party. We just went through another fraught election season. Americans made it clear that prices are too high and that the government needs to be more responsive to their needs. America wants change, but there's a responsible way to make change and a reckless way. And we can make that change without forgetting who we are as a country and as a democracy. So that's what I'm going to lay out tonight. Because whether you're from Wyandotte or Wichita, most Americans share 3 core beliefs: that the middle class is the engine of our country, that strong national security protects us from harm, and that our democracy, no matter how messy, is unparalleled and worth fighting for. Let's start with the economy. Michigan literally invented the middle class, the revolutionary idea that you could work at an auto plant and afford the car you were building. That's the American dream. And in order to expand and protect the middle class, we have to do a few basic things. We need to bring down the price of things we spend the most money on: groceries, housing, healthcare. We need to make more things in America with good-paying union jobs and bring our supply chains back home from places like China. We need to give American businesses the certainty they need to invest and create the jobs of the future. And we need a tax system that's fair for people who don't happen to make $1 billion. Look, the president talked a big game on the economy, but it's always important to read the fine print. So, do his plans actually help Americans get ahead? Not even close. President Trump is trying to deliver an unprecedented giveaway to his billionaire friends. He's on the hunt to find trillions of dollars to pass along to the wealthiest in America. And to do that, he's going to make you pay in every part of your life. Grocery and home prices are going up, not down, and he hasn't laid out a credible plan to deal with either of those. His tariffs on allies like Canada will raise prices on energy, lumber, and cars, and start a trade war that will hurt manufacturing and farmers. Your premiums and prescriptions will cost more because the math on his proposals doesn't work without going after your health care. Meanwhile, for those keeping score, the national debt is going up, not down. And if he's not careful, he could walk us right into a recession. And one more thing. In order to pay for his plan, he could very well come after your retirement, the Social Security, Medicare, and VA benefits you worked your whole life to earn. The president claims he won't, but Elon Musk just called Social Security the biggest Ponzi scheme of all time. While we're on the subject of Elon Musk, is there anyone in America who is comfortable with him and his gang of 20-year-olds using their own computer servers to poke through your tax returns, your health information, and your bank accounts? No oversight, no protections against cyber attack, no guardrails on what they do with your private data. We need a more efficient government. You want to cut waste? I'll help you do it. But change doesn't need to be chaotic or make us less safe. The mindless firing of people who work to protect our nuclear weapons, keep our planes from crashing, and conduct the research that finds the cure for cancer, only to rehire them 2 days later? No CEO in America could do that without being summarily fired. Okay, so we've talked about economic security. How about national security? Let's start with the border. As someone who spent my whole career protecting our homeland, every country deserves to know who and what is coming across its border. Period. Democrats and Republicans should all be for that. But securing the border without actually fixing our broken immigration system is dealing with the symptom and not the disease. America is a nation of immigrants. We need a functional system keyed to the needs of our economy that allows vetted people to come and work here legally. So I look forward to the president's plan on that. Because here's the thing. Today's world is deeply interconnected. Migration, cyber threats, AI, environmental destruction, terrorism. One nation cannot face these issues alone. We need friends in all corners, and our safety depends on it. President Trump loves to say peace through strength. That's actually a line he stole from Ronald Reagan. But let me tell you, after the spectacle that just took place in the Oval Office last week, Reagan must be rolling in his grave. We all want an end to the war in Ukraine, but Reagan understood that true strength required America to combine our military and economic might with moral clarity. And that scene in the Oval Office wasn't just a bad episode of reality TV. It summed up Trump's whole approach to the world. He believes in cozying up to dictators like Vladimir Putin and kicking our friends like the Canadians in the teeth. He sees American leadership as merely a series of real estate transactions. As a Cold War kid, I'm thankful it was Reagan and not Trump in office in the 1980s. Trump would have lost us the Cold War. Donald Trump's actions suggest that in his heart, he doesn't believe we're an exceptional nation. He clearly doesn't think we should lead the world. Look, America is not perfect, but I stand with the majority of Americans who believe we are still exceptional, unparalleled. And I would rather have American leadership over Chinese or Russian leadership any day of the week. Because for generations, America has offered something better. Our security and our prosperity, yes, but our democracy, our very system of government, has been the aspiration of the world. And right now, it's at risk. It's at risk when the president decides you can pick and choose what rules you want to follow, when he ignores court orders and the Constitution itself, or when elected leaders stand by and just let it happen. But it's also at risk when the president pits Americans against each other, when he demonizes those who are different and tells certain people they shouldn't be included. Because America is not just a patch of land between two oceans. We are more than that. Generations have fought and died to secure the fundamental rights that define us. Those rights and the fight for them make us who we are. We're a nation of strivers, risk takers, innovators, and we are never satisfied. That is America's superpower. And look, I've lived and worked in many countries. I've seen democracies flicker out. I've seen what life is like when a government is rigged. You can't open a business without paying off a corrupt official. You can't criticize the guys in charge without getting a knock at the door in the middle of the night. So as much as we need to make our government more responsive to our lives today, don't for one moment fool yourself that democracy isn't precious and worth saving. But how do we actually do that? I know a lot of you have been asking that question. First, don't tune out. It's easy to be exhausted, but America needs you now more than ever. If previous generations had not fought for this democracy, where would we be today? Second, hold your elected officials, including me, accountable. Watch how they're voting. Go to town halls and demand they take action. That's as American as apple pie. Third, organize. Pick just one issue you're passionate about and engage. And doom scrolling doesn't count. Join a group that cares about your issue and act. And if you can't find one, start one. Some of the most important movements in our history have come from the bottom up. In closing, we all know that our country is going through something right now. We're not sure what the next day is going to hold, let alone the next decade. But this isn't the first time we've experienced significant and tumultuous change as a country. I'm a student of history, and we've gone through periods of political instability before. And ultimately, we've chosen to keep changing this country for the better. But every single time, we've only gotten through those moments because of two things: engaged citizens and principled leaders. Engaged citizens who do a little bit more than they're used to doing to fight for the things that they care about, and principled leaders who are ready to receive the ball and do something about it. So thank you tonight for caring about your country. Just by watching, you qualify as engaged citizens. And I promise that I and my fellow Democrats will do everything in our power to be the principled leaders that you deserve. Good night, everyone.
Okie dokie, there we go. That was Elissa Slotkin. Alessa, Elissa Slot, as in Vegas slots. Slotkin. Elissa Slotkin. So what'd you guys think? Was that a good rebuttal, bad rebuttal? Y'all let me know. I mean, really, I mean, she could really, there wasn't anything different. There wasn't anything new. I don't know who that is. That's not going to be a star. That's not, it was just kind of like, She began a little bit dehydrated. I'm like, okay, coconut water. Maybe she was able to get the coconut water infused into her body when I did like that. Maybe. So I didn't hear too much of the after that. So I'll give her credit for that. But beyond that, I could have actually done without that. That didn't add anything. Okay, what was that? Okay, Trump's bad. His policies ain't going to work. And Elon, Doge, 20-year-olds, they're so dumb. Talking about why would you trust 20-year-olds to go through your data, but at the same time, you would trust a 16-year-old to go vote because they want to lower the voting age 16 rather than 18. You trust 16-year-olds to vote for the leader of the free world, the person with the finger on the nuclear button. You trust 16-year-olds to do that, but 20-year-old geniuses, you don't trust to go through spreadsheets, make it make sense. That's just a way for them to try and discourage the American people from embracing the administration. That's all that it is. So nice try. That was a good, I guess, effort, but I could have done without that. That's just kind of, some EM said it. It was a waste of my precious taxpayer time. Facts. I agree. 1000%. You said it perfectly. I wouldn't add anything or take anything away from that statement right there. Okay. That was perfect. Alrighty. So I have some super chats to read. I'm going to try to get through them the best I can. I ain't going to be up all night because it's past my bedtime a little teeny bit. Let me see if I can find them. That'd be great. Okay, there we go. There we go. All right. Let me just get myself together over here. Y'all give me a second. And if y'all like what you're hearing so far, y'all please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. All righty. Let's go to some super chats here. All right. Thank you to Black Suburban Dad Reviews, who says, I'm a garbage man in Seattle, and I see this every single day. Cops and firemen walk right past these guys bent over. Downtown Seattle is crazy. As long as they don't mess with me, we good money. Shout out to you, man. And what he was talking about, if you guys don't know, before the speech started, I was showing the video of a cop in, I believe, California somewhere, bent over backwards in the bathroom stall of the police station after he had smoked meth, but the meth was not meth. It had fentanyl in it, and he had to get Narcan like 5 times to get back into the living. A police officer. And the officer, and the reason why I showed the video is talk about the drug problem in this country. And that relates to closing the border up because a lot of the fentanyl and whatnot is coming through the border just unfettered. No pun intended. So I was showing that video and then he was responding to that. Shout out to you, Black Suburban Dad Reviews. Thank you to the White Man for gifting 5 ABL memberships. I appreciate you. Thank you to Trump Rocks, who says Pelosi was on the Mayflower when it docked. She was in the gallows inside of her coffin in the dirt. Hilarious. Hilarious. Thank you to Lisa FL for the Hayek cat fox emoji. I appreciate you. Thank you to Matt Saluk 5, who says, remember when the media called a big boy conference for Biden? That was hilarious. Now compare Trump as he is about to slap these Democrats back to reality. 100%. All right. Thank you to Matt Saluk 5, who says the cop is Kevin Hart. Oh yeah, but we can't talk about that because earlier we didn't know who the officer was, the little boy. We thought it was a real cop. I thought it was a real cop. I'm like, what are we doing? But then when I realized, okay, that's a little boy. Oh, okay. So I strike I rebuke all of what I said earlier about the little boy before I knew it was a little boy. You understand what I'm saying? I rebuke all of that. All right. Shout out to Kaius Posthumous, who says Canada wants a war, then they'll regret it. Thank you to John Mott, who said, shout out to ABL, longtime 5-ish year viewer, love the content, Michigan approved. Shout out to you, boss. I appreciate you. Thank you to Matt Saluk 5, who says Trump gonna walk in like WWE with ICE agents around him. Hey, I liked the whole entrance, the walk in, everything was good. Thank you to Both Usher's Windshield, who says Trump is letting Z-Man kiss his behind at the moment. Thank you to Brian J. Matter, who says, shout out from Wisconsin. Thank you to Ryan Walker, who says, do you think the U.S. will drop out of NATO? They should. I'm not quite sure we will, but we should. Thank you to Dolores Renteria, who says, you are awesome. I am in Compton, California. Shout out to Compton. All right. Shout out Compton. Shout out L.A. Thank you to the Freedom Express 76, who says, hi, ABL from Minnesota. Glad to see you. Likewise. Thank you for your super chat. Thank you for becoming a member. Thank you to Bobcat MIT, who says, ABL, you see where they are changing the base name back to what they always had been? Yes, absolutely. Fantastic. Thank you to OBBG for the dancing emoji. We got 2 of them. We got 3 of them. Someone says, keep it up with the working out. Thank you for that, man. Thank you to Ryan Henderson, who says, this is my country. I love my country, USA. 100% correct. Same here. Thank you to Marta Allen, who says, ABL, thank you for streaming tonight. Loving Trump. Well, no problem. You're welcome. Thank you to OBBG for the ha laughing emoji. Thank you to Butt vs. Winchell, who says, no tearing up the speech this time. Or no tearing up the speech this time. Which one? No tearing up? Well, I tried not to. And no tearing up, meaning this guy can string 2 words together, unlike the previous guy who was pretty much Weekend at Bernie, Geppetto, a puppet at best. A literal puppet out there. You don't know what's going on. That's crazy. Thank you to JB, who says, nowhere else I'd rather watch this. Thanks, ABL. Shout out to you. I appreciate you. Thank you to Ian Kinney, who says, look at all those angry Democrats not saying anything, not saying any words while everyone is chanting USA. Clearly, they hate our nation and they should all leave. Thank you to Northern Cigars, who says, peace from Canada. Prayer emoji, peace sign. Thank you for that. Thank you to Zealand Zen, who says, great event, ABL. Thank you for your support. I appreciate you as always. Thank you to Ryan Henderson, who says, Senator Al Green needs some grits poured on them. Some grits poured on them. Thank you to Heir to the Ron, who says, someone pull the Uncle Phil and toss him out. Yeah, so these right here, that's when Al Green, the House rep, was getting kicked out after the little protest. Him and his silk press and his pimp cane. Thank you to Bert Shirt, who says, Trump 2028. Thank you for that. Thank you to Carlos Gaspar for your emoji donation. I appreciate you for that. Thank you to Ron Henderson, who says, President Trump is stating nothing but facts, nothing but the facts. Right on. Thank you to Ed Ramsey, who says, Democrats are so butthurt they couldn't even stand. Absolutely. Thank you to TH Wait for your emoji, not for emoji, pardon me, just for the donation, no message. Thank you to Milo Fonbill, who says, Anthony Brown Logan, thank you for inviting me tonight. Hey, it's all good. Thank you to Flo Rider, who says, thank you, ABL, Atlanta via Beckley, West Virginia. Okay, Beckley. Shout out to Beckley. In the mountains. Like, if you're from Beckley, you're up in the mountains. I done been past Beckley many a time coming from Virginia, coming like down 81 and then what's that, 64, 77, all of that. Yeah, Beckley. Shout out to Beckley. Thank you to Rosie Borg, who says, thanks, ABL, for your coverage. Democrats look like little brats with their baby signs. Best chat group. God bless everyone. Glad we're all here. Right on. Thank you to Alicia Raya for the thank you emoji. Thank you to Libby Ann for becoming a member of the ABL squad. Thank you to Milo again, who says the Department of Health and Human Services, HHS, paid $18 million per month, $18 million U.S. American cold hard cash dollars per month to an NGO for an empty facility in Pecos, Texas. Make that make sense. $18 million a month. Crazy. Thank you to Ron Henderson, who says, I can't figure the Democrats. Why don't you love our country? This is a great country. Why can't you love it? Good question. But I don't know. They have their own interests. Thank you to Walter, I can't pronounce your last name, boss, Canvas, who says, redemption for all those days he sat in those courtrooms. Right on. MAGA. Thank you to Muramasa S, who says, never knew we had Methuselah descendants living in the United States. Exactly. Speaking about Trump rattling off all those people listed as being over 140. One person was older than the USA itself. Obviously, those records need to get updated. Thank you to Taylor Langley, who says, all hail King Trump, as the cool kids would say. Thank you to Peters War Headvids, who says, just take Trudeau away before he declares martial law and names himself King of Canada. And that's from a Canadian, because those are Canadian dollars in the super chat. Thank you for that, boss. Appreciate you. Thank you to Anthony Rufocaba, who says Al Green at 77 years old is on his 11th term. Term limits, for sure. He might be a case study for term limits. Thank you to Uncle Chico, who says the USA is blessed to have a leader like Mr. Trump that is doing what he ran for. This Canadian is jealous and happy for you. Right on. Shout out to you, boss. Thank you to El Rodriguez for the goal emoji. Thank you to Roger Wood, who says Potato Joe could never. Thank you to Muramasa S, who says Democrats not clapping for Laken Riley is pathetic. Yeah, there were some times where they should have clapped. For the little boy, they should have clapped for that. For Laken Riley, they should have clapped for that. Playing politics to the point where you just ignore a real human moment is crazy. I don't care, Democrat, Republican. I understand you get your side to promote or whatever, but come on. A real human moment happened and you just totally are deadpan. I ain't like that. Thank you to Brian Henderson, who says the Democrats look like a collection of demons. Thank you to Butt versus Winfield, who says, OMG, I'm getting misty, my president. Thank you to DJ Eric Becker, who says, what's your opinion on the Take It Down act he mentioned? It can be weaponized against people, but sometimes it needs to be a thing. Like if you're putting up revenge, you know what? Then, yeah, in that case, obviously, take that down. Thank you to Muramasa S, who says Biden and Kamala rarely called the border agent leadership, rarely visited the border. Yeah, I don't think Kamala ever went. Maybe she did one time, but for the most part, she never went. Thank you to Taylor Langley, who says, imagine if Kamala was up there right now. It's surreal to think that Trump dodged Fiscal bullet and we dodged the bullet of God knows what with that administration. Exactly. That would have been the whole dumpster fire having Kamala up there. Thank you to Bob versus Windshield, who says, I've never shed tears at a State of the Union before. Hey, I was right there with you, boss. Cause it was getting a little bit misty up here. It was getting a little bit, it was becoming situation critical up there in these tear buds. It almost, the dam almost broke. Okay. And the village almost got flooded. You understand what I'm saying? But anyway, thank you to Brian Henderson, who says President Trump is awesome. That young boy Secret Service agent is priceless. Absolutely. Thank you to Bob versus Windshield, who says this versus Oscars, Trump versus woke. Oscars could never, Grammys could never, none of that stuff could ever hold a candle to what happened tonight at the State of the Union address or the joint Congress session, whatever they want to call it. It is what it is. Thank you to Bina for gifting 10 ABL memberships. Shout out to you, Bina. I appreciate you. Hold on, round of applause. Thank you, Bina. Thank you to Muramasa S, who says Denmark can't protect Greenland. They can't. Europe soft nowadays. Thank you to Bob versus Windshield, who says USA loses $2,000 a month to drugs. Ukraine the same. Wow. It's crazy. Thank you to Viewer 72, who says, I'm very excited for our future. Thank you for that. Thank you to David Contreras, who says, great job, ABL. Thank you for your support, boss. I appreciate you. Thank you to Muramasa S, who says, Trump has to release the names and companies involved in the UAP tech. Yes, correct. Thank you, Professor Winship, who says, still not tired of winning, Mr. President Trump. Thank you to Dan Barone for becoming an ABL member. Thank you to S. Ford, who says, great speech, right on. Thank you to Asher, who says, probably his most powerful speech ever. Even some Democrats stood up to clap when he was addressing Ukraine. Hey, good point. I didn't even see that. So shout out to them for setting up sometimes when, you know, it's a real human moment. Thank you to Dolores Renteria for your donation. Thank you to Dan Barone, who said, thanks you, ABL. Probably the best presidential speech I've ever seen. It was a roller coaster of emotions. 100% correct. Thank you to KK Bronson, who said, thank you for this, ABL. Thank you for your super chat. Thank you to True North, who says, as a Canadian, I support what Trump does for the world. I also support you and your channel for non-biased reporting. Thank you for that. I appreciate you, boss. Thank you to Twisted Clown, who says, wheelchair guy was clapping for that speech. Right on. Shout out to Will. Hey, I often think of wheelchair guy. I often think of Jeb Bush, and I often think of wheelchair guy. Where is he at right now? Grunting and having his wife interpret it into some random thing that he did not say. That's like, bro, come on, man. That was the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. I'm like, man, no way. Anyway, I digress. Thank you to True North for becoming an ABL supporter. Thank you to Big Joker ATO, who says Democrats' approval rating will be 3% in the morning. Right on. Thank you to True North, who says Canada supports Trump and hates our leaders. Right on. Thank you to, I got a few more here. Y'all hang tight. Thank you to Twisted Clown, who says, I want to hear wheelchair guy's rebuttal. Thank you to DJ Jammin' Jimmy, who says they couldn't even stand for a kid who beat cancer. Exactly. Crazy, right? Thank you to the Faith Factor, who says Democrats claim Trump wanted to end Social Security, yet Trump just declared he wants no tax on Social Security. Exactly. Make that make sense. Like, they say one thing, he says something else, and then they call him a liar. It's like, well, he said it. Like, how you know what he's going to do or not? Thank you to Misan Tunet, who says, aloha from Hawaii. Thanks for going live. Glad I switched from CBS before it started. My dad, U.S. Navy retired veteran from the Philippines, says, hey, shout out to you, boss. Hey, shout out to the Filipinos involved with the Navy, because y'all know being from Virginia. We got the base right there, NOB's right there. So a lot of Filipinos come for that reason. So shout out to you. Shout out to your dad. All right. And thank you for his service as well. Thank you to 1,000-pound baby grand piano who says Big Mac, fries, nuggets, happiness in the bag. Hey, your name and that super chat are crazy. 1,000-pound baby grand piano. Ain't that what I be saying? Talking about the Eastern Europeans covered in borsch, baby grand piano. Shout out to Kelly Williams who says, my dad is 89, veteran of Korea and Vietnam. He finally feels he can be proud of his country again. Been so long. He says he can now go proud and happy. Wow. Wow. That is big. Shout out to you and shout out to your dad. Shout out to all the veterans in the chat. Hey, applause for y'all. Shout out to all the vets in the chat. We appreciate y'all. Thank you to Trinigerian who says all the wasted money uncovered by Doge, but that's just Trump trying to give money to his friends. So who was money going to before Doge? Exactly. They think you're going to do the same thing that they did because that money was going to their friends. So they think since he took it, he give it to his friends. But maybe, just maybe, we're not going to spend it. Or how about this? Here's a grand idea. Spend that on the actual American people. How about that? We got crumbling infrastructure, things of this nature. How about spend that money over there rather than just spending money willy-nilly to all over the world, friends, family, etc. Just a novel idea, right? Thank you to Atomic Tabasco for giving out 5 ABL memberships. Thank you to True North for giving out 10 ABL memberships. I appreciate y'all. Thank you, True North, Atomic Tabasco, all you guys, being all the vets, everybody watching, retweeting, super chatting, whatever you're doing. I could not do the show without you. I'll be back live tomorrow. Today's Tuesday. I'll be back on Wednesday for the regular show. Same bat time, same bat place, 8 p.m. Eastern time to right now, actually, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that'll be a wrap for me. So if you're watching for the very first time, welcome. On your way out, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. Go to my actual description box, look at the links, go to the website, visit the merch website, ablmerch.com. You could get this hat, I Survived the Pandemic, and a few more. Hold on, I got a collection of hats. Hold on. Don't go nowhere. Hold on. I got some more. And stop. And I had to get a few samples, right? I had to get a few samples, just a handful of samples. Okay, so we the people, okay, with the broader inscription, more across. Okay, we got the USA and the Army green. That right there you kill them. Hey, shout out to the vets. When you go to the range with that on, where'd you get that? I Survived the Pandemic in the Army green. You got to get that one as well. Okay, that's an old design. These are old designs, but I got more stuff coming out. 1984 with the big face on it. These hats are a teeny bit different than my normal hats. The no vax, of course, you know about that one. Okay. All of these hats, ablmerch.com, ablmerch.com. Link in the box. 1776. And we the people again. This is a little bit different. You can see this is kind of like one of my first ones. Okay. This is not as big as the other one. See? It's a teeny bit. This one is bigger on the front. It's more centered. Okay, more centered. This one is more up and it's not as big. But that was an early, I guess, yeah. But we got more. We got more coming. Shout out to Monique Price if you're watching. We got more coming. We got a lot of stuff coming. We're going to do 5, 6, probably about 4 or 5 in the month, potentially. We'll see how we go. But we got a lot more coming. We got shirts. We got everything coming. So go to the merch website, ABL Merch. Thank you, Sheree, for putting that link right there in the chat, ablmerch.com. Go everywhere. Go to the website, anthonyblogan.com. Check me out there. But that'll be a wrap for me. So until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out. And peace.